Cast as they get rolling.
This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
And then there were two.
Yeah, they're dropping like
There's
five.
only 50% of the cast is here right now. I mistakenly thought that Kat Carlson was going to be here today, but you are correct. She did say if her family drove her crazy enough,
Right.
she would show up here. So we have received late word from Kat. She is not going to be here, but Marnie Ryer, as usual, is on her way. Will be here shortly. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Joey from Canada. Anant is there. Joe D was posting earlier. Of course, Missy Al. That's Mr. Al Perkins, who's here along with me. I'm Clayton McKee. Thank you all for being here. It is a Tuesday night. It's the 25th. The 25th of October, where we are. I think it's the 26th, where some of you might be, or depending on when you're listening to this. This is actually is next Monday Halloween?
Yes.
The 31st. So this is actually the final show of the month.
Yes.
And our last show before Halloween is over.
And
2 weeks before all this shit is over with our election in the United States. I'd like to apologize to the rest of the world for all of this going on and taking for so long.
And now we've entered the void because the debates are over. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, Trump has stopped fundraising.
Right?
He's decided to put the kibosh on that, and
Right.
we're just in this weird limbo now of like running out the clock and
Right.
see what happens. What more can come out of WikiLeaks that means absolutely nothing?
It's also interesting to see, and again, if you're not from America or you don't live here, it's probably of little interest to you, but what they're doing...
Wondering how our elections last 19 months.
Right. What they're doing now also is they're showing at this time in the 2012 election where the early voting was and how much it's surpassing now. It's just blowing it out of the water with how many early ballots and how many more registered voters there are than there was just a mere 4 years ago. It's just interesting. It's just nuts how many people are already out there. Lines of people waiting in certain states where early voting has already started. Like I said, Mom and mine are already in. In fact, I was going to send you that link. I forgot there's a... You can go to the county recorder's website, enter your own information. It'll tell you if your ballot has been received and recorded and done. So
Oh, and
there's
moved
that.
it on. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm done with mine, and I know I did. You already send yours? Or
No, I don't early. Well, I early in person vote because they fucked it up. When I don't trust them anymore. The year that they started that was the year that they lost all the ballots and they were rejecting them for all different reasons. That the Republican
Is that
Party
part
in
of Helen
Arizona.
Purcell and her bullshit?
I don't think it was her yet. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was her, but I only did it 1 year, and then they fucked up all of it, and so many things, so many ballots were lost, and so much got screwed up with the things that they became provisional ballots and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'll
we're
just
done.
show up in person.
I've never actually done that. I've always done the early ballot, and I've never had a problem with that
Yeah.
one.
So, so I'll do.
That's a cute shirt. That's a very cute shirt.
I'll do the early in person probably.
Oh, so you're going to go to the recorder's office
Yeah.
yourself and do it. Gotcha.
And then I register my complaint with how much I hate them. That way I get to talk to someone who really is a captive audience and tell them that
that one person behind the counter that's just kind of like...
It's like, I'm not in charge of this. I'm not
Well,
the boss of all this. I'm like, well, you can pass it on. That
Based on my voting that I have already submitted, I'm hoping that we get her out of it and Mr. Fontes in it, and then hopefully some cleaning some house down there at the old county recorder's office where miraculously all this bullshit's happened that she doesn't understand. Well, I don't know what happened. Because you're not fucking paying attention.
And then the
That's
Wicked
what
Witch of the West was on. She's been making the rounds because Trump's running out of surrogates. So she was working overtime. I don't know how many times they had to polish that turd.
Yeah, but how do you work overtime by saying something like, "Oh, you know those Mexicans don't vote"?
I was astounded she said that. Which all that means is that they're going to be si se puente and they're going to run out there and vote like a son of a bitch.
I have to tell you, my mouth, she does not typically surprise me, but that surprised me.
Yeah.
I thought, because you can't be that fucking dumb.
She is.
She was talking about all the liberal voting laws and how easy it was to vote. And somebody turned to her and was like, Your state had 4.5 hour voting lines.
Right.
Your state is one of the problems.
Right.
You're the one we're looking at.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it wasn't me. They're like, yes, but it was the people that served under you
Right.
that did this
Correct.
in
Exactly.
response to you. And she's like, well, I don't know if all that's true. So then they put the picture up of the lines, and they're like, this is your state.
Do you remember the outline? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just hysterical to watch her trying to like boogie on back, and
Thanks,
Nope.
man.
and I cannot remember who was just after. I can't remember who it was that was after her, but it was like, oh, lady, you have no points to make here. Like
Yeah,
you're
none.
one of the states we're after.
Yes.
They should have gotten in her face.
Oh, yeah, like she did with the old
when she
Obama.
wagged her face in.
But,
I mean,
her hand in.
And luckily, I mean, she is spreading her evil on other channels. But luckily, CNN has just made a list of like the most vile people they can find. And I can't watch CNN anymore. Like my addiction to CNN has been
Because of that Corey
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski?
I can't. He's so slimy and gross.
He really is. And you've said that, and I thought, well, whatever. I'm so with you between
you're like,
between
"Ugh."
Cunty McEnany and
and Jeffrey Lord or
Haley Kaylee Cunty something and
and now the
and that other that Scotty
she's the one that I can make it through about 15
Scotty
seconds.
Nels Hughes.
Oh, and
Cunty.
seriously, you could set her on fire, and she would sit there and be like, "No, I'm fine. What fire?"
Trump could set her on fire.
Yeah,
She'd be
yeah.
like,
That's
he did
exactly
not
it.
do it.
Trump-
That's a liberal fire if I've ever felt
That
one.
looked like Obama. I mean, that
It
looked
was
like
a
Obama.
black guy, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. It wasn't a Mexican. They're at home. They don't vote.
They don't vote.
No. Oh.
They're building taco trucks.
Totally. Yeah. Good call. Oh,
Lovely.
how funny though.
Hi, Mom. I see you're in the chat room too. Mama Dies.
How
in
nice
there.
was that
Hello,
to see
Joey.
your mom on Sunday?
Yeah,
That
and
was
yours.
so nice.
It was such a fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun to see everybody. Like
Yeah.
everybody showed up, and
was
we
really
walked.
nice.
We walked for the Cure. Even Al got up for the Cure this year.
sure did.
Proud of him.
Yes.
It's been a rough week of getting up early.
If you don't know what we're speaking of, just this past Sunday was our local Arizona AIDS Walk we do every year, and we had all raised money, and we're on the same team. Our team is called the Barbara Seville's Wonderful 100, and this year we raised over $31,000. Our goal was 20, and or excuse me, 20 or 25.
Our goal was 20.
20, and we raised over $31,000.
And that was just our team.
Oh,
So
just our
it
team.
was in Arizona, I think 330.
We can look in a minute. I don't remember.
It
what
was
the
6,000 or something.
nuts,
Yeah.
nuts.
And without meaning to keep you out of it, but 3 out of the 4 people typically in this room were in the top 10
For our team.
for our team.
Oh, I'm not.
No. I just didn't want to be like,
Oh, no.
man, excluding you.
Oh, no.
And,
Fuck it. I
and
don't care.
Ernie would be number 4 because she was number 10, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Because
Yeah.
all these, all this one was looking at is his score.
Of course.
No, I was keeping track of everyone.
I know. When
I
I said to
waved
him,
as I
where
passed
was I?
others.
He's like, I don't know.
No, I think you were 6.
But he's not keeping track.
No.
Oh, who would bother?
You weren't up as
But
high as I was.
I can't
is what he
remember if Kat ended up
3.
I was third, but
She
for
was
the
3.
whole state, I was 13th
I
for
don't
the
know.
whole state.
Wow.
And Kat, I think she did make it to the top 10 for the whole state.
I didn't know that we could whole state it, so now I need to find out.
Now you
where
got
I
to figure
was.
that one out.
Yeah.
Where you are in that.
Yeah.
But that was one. But it was fun. It was we got up. We walked. I don't know how many people. I haven't heard an estimate of how many people walked, but there was a lot of
Yeah,
people,
there
both
was.
running and walking. And we walk through downtown Phoenix. We walk west of downtown Phoenix is where our state capitol is. So we walk down right around the Capitol and loop right back and basically end where you started. So it was fun. There are different bands who play along the route. People handing out water, and it's
Some good, some
Some
bad.
bad.
Remember the one who was walking around in the witch costume and scared the shit out of you? Wasn't it you?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Because I was looking at the stage and I'm like, well, someone is singing, but why aren't they on the stage? And then out of nowhere, I was like face to face with her. But she didn't put the witch hat on or at least I didn't notice the witch hat until when we walked past her the second time.
she had it on.
She had it the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Because I'm like, why? That's kind of odd that somebody just dancing in front of their stage with
right.
a, and then found out it was her.
Yeah. Oh, she's singing. Oh,
Yeah, that was what it was. And then,
And Katie June being able to see KJ. That
Yeah.
was nice.
That
Oh,
was
Katie,
fun.
Katie
Yeah.
June was with us.
On the
with
stage.
All the babies.
All the babies. Oh,
Oh.
that was
And-
and that was funny. I was
Palmer and
I don't know
Clo-
the other.
Stop it, Quinlan, and it's a C. Cohen.
Cohen.
And it was very funny because the two were in their thing
Stroller.
you push.
Yeah,
Thanks.
strollers.
And so they're in their strollers, and the Quinlan, I believe it was just calm and just sitting there looking around like, oh, what am I doing here?
Right.
And the other one was crying like a banshee. And Kelly, Katie's partner, Katie's wife, basically, is standing right behind her and says, I said, oh, look, it's both Katie's personalities. And she goes, nope, one's me, one's Katie. And she said, let me guess, this one's crying? I said, yeah. And she goes, that's Katie. Because Kelly's very even, you know.
Yeah.
Even-keeled, yeah.
Very funny.
I wonder if
Very,
any of
very
the well, actually, there's 3 to choose from at this point with the twins and Palmer. I was wondering, are any of them going to be hypochondriacs? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Actually, I heard something today and thought it was fantastic. Instead of hypochondriac, disease of choice.
Oh, your
They
disease of
said,
choice.
what is your disease of choice this week? And
Because I've heard disease du
burst
jour.
out, that's fantastic.
Tell us the
Hey,
disease
Amina,
du jour.
we do. We need to. So when she comes back in on election night, we'll be like, what is your disease
What's
du
wrong with
jour?
you this week?
What's the
she
matter?
made
And
that-
I think
Katie.
I think we're gonna have a lot of people because I think the Wilk is joining us on
Right.
election
Oh,
day
nice.
too.
Good.
So we'll have everyone here having a nervous
full
breakdown at
house.
the same
right,
time.
Right.
I'm still debating
All
whether
waiting for those fuckers in Pennsylvania to vote.
I'm still in debate whether I was going to bring 2 smaller screens in here, one for MSNBC so we can watch my boyfriend, and then one for
I think we
CNN. But I'm debating on doing it because I know how you are with TVs, Al. So if you have a TV, you get completely distracted for everything
Oh
else.
yeah, and then
True.
just ignore it all. Unless it's me on the screen, and then I never look. Well,
No idea. I mean,
as we learned 4 years ago, that none of us were watching Fox News, and it turned out all the action was happening over there.
People losing their minds
So
over reality.
I think
So
I'm going to set
funny.
my TV to tape Fox News, around the close of the
Polls.
in California.
I can't figure out if to just have it done so that it's done and go down and vote early, or because I love my voting day. Like I love my voting day, and going down there and standing in line. Here's the problem: every other year that I voted, I haven't, whomever I'm standing in line with, whatever, you gab and it's fine. If I have to stand near a Trump person, I might punch them, and then I end up in jail. There's all kinds of things.
Wow.
So
So we're going to go live to Marnie Ryer. She's at the 4th Avenue jail right now. Marnie, how are things down there?
it's cops. It's cops.
Yeah, I just want to see Trump.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, the Trump people guarding the voting district. That's kind of what I want to see. I want
Yeah.
to take a look at that.
Well, did anybody happen to hear the thing? I knew nothing about it until Rachel Maddow brought it up last night. The fact that the RNC is actually at the very end of a legal dispute. They basically got a cease and desist order in the 80s from doing that very thing.
Yeah.
And it went to federal court. And so she was talking about the fact that they have 1 year left on this.
Not even they have till January of 17, so they
17.
have 2 months.
I thought no.
Yeah, it's
It's
January
2017.
It's January of 17.
I swear she said December 1st of 17.
No, it's like
Oh,
January.
it could be. It's 2017 though. That's all I know.
I
didn't
think-
know
I
what
think
I
the
think
date
it's
was.
December because it would be after the whatever anyway.
election. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But regardless, it's after this election. So they're like, if they're caught doing it again, it goes back to court. They get hit for I think another 10 years.
Yeah.
So they don't want it. So she was talking about the fact that the RNC is like every time Donald encourages people to go out and hang around and monitor. they're
Count
like,
the people
No,
going
no.
in. Yeah, yeah.
Do not do exactly the opposite of that. Do not do that at all.
He lied.
He lied. Do not worry about it.
It's fantastic.
But again, all of the bullshit that he's yammering about the sway of all the votes and the rigged and all the bullshit. He just doesn't. I guess these people don't realize how many people you would have to get to buy into your plan. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people from everywhere, from county recorders to the little old ladies that sit with donuts in a church, cafeteria or whatever, school cafeteria, excuse me, that mark your ballot and give you the sticker. All those little old ladies have to buy in. You have to get the people that are monitoring them. You get a lot of people have to buy into this to actually rig an election. So that doesn't happen.
Just oh, absolutely. And it's almost like he's saying, fuck, these people are still going to vote for me. Well, now what can I do?
No.
Jesus, I've tried to say no.
What could I
Everybody
say?
go out and watch the polls. Oh, good, I got, like, what's the next thing that he...
There's nothing. Clearly nothing.
He's trying. God bless him. He's trying to lose.
Yeah, and I mean that
winning at
it's illegal here to use any intimidation, and you can't go within. Is it 50 feet or what's the measure? There's a
50
measure.
or 75 feet.
Sure.
Yes, 75 feels right. That
I feel like you can't be on that property as well.
you can be on the property, but they measure out the feet to the polling place where you can't have your petitions or signs, like it's marked off so that
You
you're
can't wear
free
Trump
of influence.
You couldn't wear shirts like that, even though it doesn't say Hillary, the logo.
Right.
You can't wear any any of that stuff.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it doesn't prohibit you from having conversations in line with other people, but you can't actively be a supporter, correct? Like you and I could be on opposing sides of the fence.
Oh
and
yeah,
have
and
a
if she went and
discussion.
voted in that T-shirt, it's fine. She just can't be hanging around, but you can go and vote.
Oh,
I
I
thought
didn't think
no.
you couldn't wear
I'm-
anything that had any political reference to it at all.
Oh no.
Yeah, like you can, if I wore, I don't know, just a shirt that said Hillary on it, like that's my name, fine. But to have this on because it's a logo,
Because the logo.
it's promoting.
Oh, that
Yeah.
that I actually don't know.
Yeah,
You couldn't even wear a hat. You can't wear a windbreaker. You can have an umbrella that said
Sure,
Trump
I can't
on it.
wear
or
a
Hillary.
pin or a button, nothing that.
I believe that to be true.
That is
I will-
factual.
Oh, look that up.
Yes, you want to avoid.
In Arizona, you can bring your gun anywhere.
True. Sad. True.
Just don't aim it at white people, and you're
Hi,
fine.
babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's so ridiculous that people are like, who are you going to vote for?
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you? The good news is, I'm assuming Trump voters can't add. So they're, so the counting to figure out, and now what's me a tape measure? Now is that as big as a
there's
gator?
there's
Like,
always
what
that
is
big
I don't
sign there that
They
says,
have little signs.
that says this is the 75 or whatever it is
joking.
feet mark. Yeah.
know. Just a joke.
Yeah. Oh,
But the problem
measure
is with the-
twice, cut once. That's what they do.
I keep thinking that it can't be real that people are buying into. Like, I keep thinking we're going to wake up from this. And I keep, Ashton Kutcher's going to come out and say, you've been punked.
Yeah.
And it will be a delight. And then we all go,
Delight.
this is fantastic. Donald, you get an Oscar. Fuck the Emmy. Who cares? And it's
Well, it has been in daytime television, so he might get the Emmy.
absolutely.
Get a daytime.
Should have won. And I keep thinking that that's going to happen. And then, just because I don't want to name names, because I don't want to say their names, in my bloodline, let's say,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, let's say that there's this place that you can go called Space Library, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah.
And you go on there and you can look and see people's opinions.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, fuck me running. That's 6 degrees of separation right there. Actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my God.
Rain Manning this in? What the hell was that?
No, but looking at all this and seeing like at least 5 people,
Oh, yeah.
6, 7, just that I know that are absolutely 100% voting for Trump.
Well, they're out
Proud
there.
of it,
You're not going to stop them.
but it's too much for me.
Yeah.
Like, it makes my head kind of want to explode.
There's a woman who I like very much. Knew her professionally, and we haven't worked together in years, a few years now, not that long of a time, and we're friends on the Space Library. And she just goes.
Cracks me.
She goes on rants about stuff, and I'm always like, oh, I hope that God is working through this doctor's hands. Nah, I'm always like, and most of the time I just have to just scroll past quickly before it gets all religious-y. But this time she was saying, and I honestly don't know what she was in favor of, but it started off being about, I don't know what it was. But it was something I was like, okay, I guess there's a point there. So I read down, and then she was like, and I don't get why these gays think that Democrats are better for gays than Republicans. It's when she, all capital letters, it's we the people that decided that they were just like us and they should have the opportunity to live as they like, and all in capital letters. And we are the ones that decided to embrace them and let them live and let live. And I was like, okay, bitch. I'm getting taken off the earrings for this one. I'm like,
hold these.
I'm like, I am so glad that I waited for you to give me permission to live.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm not going to take a lecture on you about like who our allies were in the early 90s and who they weren't and who was on our team and who wasn't on our team. Right. I'm like, but do not preach on here with all capital letters on how like you're the one that gave me the right to live. Right. Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, and I'm sure you mean well and your heart's in the right place because most people think she's a lesbian. Sure. So,
well, thou dost protest too much sometimes.
Yeah, and she honestly isn't, but she, and it was just, it was fucking killing me.
Sure.
And then somebody puts below that, well, it's actually George W. Bush that did so much for AIDS, and it's actually true. Mm-hmm. That around the world, he did do a lot for AIDS. But we're also talking like 30 or 20 years past the point that we're talking
we
about.
Needed action. We needed action.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yay. In 2004, he did something that we needed done in 1984.
Well, and these people that helped us and chose for us. How nice.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Because I wouldn't pick your ass for the kickball team. So now you go over there. So, get away from me. I hate you.
Maybe the dodgeball team?
Nope.
Oh.
Dodgeball. I love
Rover.
By the way,
strangely violent sport.
By the way, I just checked.
That game I never got.
I never understood that.
Spacelibrary.com is not a real site. So in case anybody wanted to buy it, it's available, I'm sure.
It's available.
Happy Diwali.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I feel like we looked this up. The Hindu Festival of Lights celebrated every year in autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, spring in the Southern Hemisphere. Official holiday in Fiji, Guyana, I don't know, Nevada, India,
tomato.
Pakistan, Malaysia.
Jim Jones. That's all. Guyana.
I actually don't know how to pronounce all those I's. And Myanmar.
What's the word?
Mauritius? I'm not sure what to do with those two I's.
Let me see. I can't.
Mauritius?
Sounds like something you'd call
Maritus? Me. Yeah, it does sound like your given name.
Joey, it's another name that he's giving me right now. I'm Emeritus.
We look because we were talking about putting up lights for different things, and that's what Anant said was the only thing he put up lights for, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I have that in my calendar because did it start yesterday? Sunday, meaning Sunday. I thought it started yesterday. I don't know. I put it in my phone so that I would remember. It goes off every year in Nant, so I can remember.
In 2016, it says the 30th of October in North India and the 29th of October in South India.
What about in West America? No,
not available.
Nothing? Okay. Doesn't let us know.
Wait, what? Oh. Further West America.
Further West America.
Further west.
I'm like, huh?
Oh no, Meow Cow's got to make another map.
Yep, we need further West America.
Mauritius, okay. I was like, that's just.
Oh, Mauritius.
Mauritius, okay.
Mauritius.
I like Mauritius better than Mauritius.
Completely off topic, but I want to give a shout out to listener, fellow podcaster. And I hope I get the name.
Oluwoch.
Right, Anthony Oluwoch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what happened to him, other than we mentioned some weeks back he was stricken with half of his face. He had a bout with Bell's palsy, which is kind of a paralyzing kind of a effect on your face. Well, apparently he woke up the other day and the other half was done. So he checked himself into a hospital and they gave him some stuff and sent him away, and he was supposed to come back
like
the next day.
pamphlets or
no, like medications.
Oh, okay.
They gave him
some light reading.
They gave him some medications and asked him to return the next day for other testing or something to that effect. So just because he apparently just rolls with the punches so well and would probably be a fun person to hang with, he then posts a new Facebook picture of himself as resting bitch face.
And there was he said, I'm smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling on the inside.
Yeah.
So Anyway, Anthony, I hope you get better. I'm still tracking your progress on the Facebooks because that's the only connection that I have to you with that. So
I can't bring soup over.
Yeah, sending
can't run over. What were we gonna
sending
say?
good wishes, and I'm not sure how the soup would work.
I thought for sure you were gonna say thoughts and prayers, and I was gonna slap you.
Yeah,
I was gonna have to come over there and just slap you.
That would have been
because
fantastic.
prayers mean so much.
Your prayers mean so much.
Thoughts and prayers. That's good.
But I do find myself like at least 14 times a day going, "Oh, please God, don't let Trump win this election." And I'm like, okay, we've resorted to prayer. Things have gone.
I mean, sometimes you have.
I'm willing to try witchcraft and voodoo.
I'll do anything. Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
I don't care what order. I'll juggle it and be like, "What did I end? Okay, good. I'll do that now."
Yes, indeed, do.
Yuck.
Yeah.
So, I think Amina had asked where Kat is.
Where who?
Kat.
Oh, Kat has chosen to take the night off because, she needed to see her family. However, in my defense, which I mentioned earlier in the show, she did mention over the weekend, she was on the AIDS walk with us, did all of our it was a great time. She did say that based on how the level of craziness that her family was causing her, she might have just escaped and showed up tonight. And I didn't even think of it when I posted today that we were going to have a full cast. I just, for some reason, forgot that she might not be here. And as you can see, she's not. However,
when I saw that, I started laughing because I thought, well, maybe she's avoiding her family.
But she will, she did say she will be here next week. And, of course, the night that I was talking about just a while ago on our election night. We will be here in full force. It's going to be all four of us. Our former co-host, Katie June, will be here. Our longtime friend, Doug Wilkie, will be in studio.
The villainess.
Yeah, the villainess. I forgot about that.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, who knows who else? I mean, it could just be a whole election party. Jason Carlton might come by. I don't know what he's got going on.
So if you're on Ritalin, take more. I mean, anyone who needs it, take your medication.
But it'll be an interesting night, and I'm hoping, well, we should be able to. By the time this show ends that night, we should either be ready to move or ready to breathe a huge sigh of relief and just be like, okay, that's fucking done.
The way it looks now, it looks like it should be called like 9 o'clock our time.
Our time?
Yeah.
Got it.
The way it's shaping up now, all signs...
It may even be 8 o'clock because remember we have a time change. Isn't
no,
it?
No, yeah.
Is it after that or is it before that?
That's with the time change.
Gotcha.
Because 8 o'clock is when California polls close, and that's 9 o'clock our time.
Oh, gotcha.
And they timed that
stressful.
Miraculously. They timed that for the 11 o'clock news on the East Coast.
It's very stressful though, all of it.
But it'll be over. Yay, it'll be over.
It is, and it depends if things come in, and then it could all come down to like 2 and 3 point spreads in every state that they can't announce, that they have to wait for every sleepy little district.
I'm really not concerned with the big one, the presidential, as much as I am. I'm really curious to watch the down ballots across the country to see who loses their ass because they're of their affiliation and how they just hung on to. I'm going to stick with the Republicans regardless.
And state by state, it's going to be fun
very
to see.
interesting to see all that.
And I don't know. You may have it in a headline, so I don't want to. But the Arpaio thing,
I do
heard
not.
about that.
I do not have it in a headline.
They, you heard about it? No. Yes. 3:30 today.
Oh, they formally had filed charges. I did hear
Joe
that.
Arpaio.
Yeah.
Who's our sheriff?
And a horrible person.
Douchebag. Yeah.
If you want to know more about him, just look up.
Yep, Joey, I'm coming.
Yeah.
What does he call it? What does he call himself? The toughest sheriff in America, or something to that
like
effect.
that.
But if you want to look up and learn more about what a piece of work that is, can Google him.
Yeah, he's
toughest sheriff in America.
Toughest sheriff in America.
That's what he calls himself.
And so he's running against Paul Penzone. Penzone.
Yeah, already voted.
Penzone.
Yeah.
And unbelievable, this guy. Like he's very much a Donald Trump kind of mirror.
If I'm not mistaken, the charges filed against him today in federal court are the contempt of court charges because he was told to stopping everybody that's not pure white to
stop racial profiling.
Right. So because he has been racial profiling forever and ever, though he says he's not. Of course, everybody says they're not. But he still continued to practice that long after he was told by courts to stop. So charges were brought up against him for contempt of court. So that's all going on. So in the most current figure, if I'm not mistaken, what we as taxpayers in our Maricopa County is where Phoenix, Arizona is. He is the sheriff of Maricopa County, which is larger than Phoenix. However, I believe it's $142 million is what our tax money has gone so far to defend him and all of the other bullshit.
Yeah.
He
I
has
didn't realize that.
$142 million. Can you imagine what else could have been done with that, for crying out loud? Than just
No,
that
I can't.
fucktard?
You mean like going to education or something like
Anything,
that? Or
anything
really. Yeah.
I would have rather
the
just
roads,
right, fix a road, fix a bridge.
educate a kid.
Yeah,
or a lot,
Yeah, or several of them.
or many.
Teach a kid how to build a bridge. I mean,
Give
maybe they could do
somebody
that.
some food. I don't know. It's weird.
So many things.
God, how liberal of us. God. No wonder we're in the hole.
Oh my
We
heavens!
just give it away.
But anywho, I know that it's not going on all over the country, all over the world where elections are going on. So once this passes, I'm sure we'll talk much less about politics than we currently do. But it happens every 4 years. Actually, we get it a little bit in the midterms, so it's like every 2 years. But really, every 4 it gets really big.
Right. And I know that it, when I'm in looking for stories and I'm looking for different things, I hear an ant right back here.
Oh yeah.
You know, kind of like, can we talk about something else?
Well, we
You
do
know?
have other things to
and
talk
I
about.
know, and I know how it can get. It's daunting, and Erin doesn't. She doesn't want to have next to a thing to do with it, and she used to be incredibly political, and now she's like whatever, because it's just so
It's frustrating.
frustrating
it's so
and
soul crushing
and
this
sad.
yeah.
Right,
True.
right, and so I understand it, but the stories are so right there where you go, shut up. You
They
can't
did-
make
they
that.
did not.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I always think of like when we first started, now is this a true story or is it not a true story? Just tell the story, but and you don't know like anymore.
Everything's the onion.
The onion has come to life. What is happening?
Everything's the onion. Oh, and speaking of that, I was watching. I'm very, very curious to watch how the Chris Christie thing is unwinding because from some of the testimony that's already come through, it is real apparent, and he knew exactly. I mean, it's been alleged, and everybody has also said, but apparently some emails came up in the court this past week.
People just don't send emails.
Yeah,
I mean, have
stop with the
we
email.
not learned anything else? You just don't win the email
real.
game.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just very, very interesting to see that his ass is gonna be in a ringer too. Really curious to see. Well, it's gonna be a big ringer. But
Yeah. And it's fun when a trial can agree on one villain. When the prosecution and the defense
we realize
both agree
it's this guy.
it's this guy.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
what degree of
When your
guilt?
opening statement is like, he did it.
He did it, yeah.
Right.
And the other side says, we agree. You know it's not good for you. And you're like, shit.
Can we recess for just a minute? Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
We
That
need
was
to talk
one of my
about this.
favorite pieces of news when both teams came up and were like, "Yeah, it's him."
Oh, oddly, he's not here.
In
He snuck out the
summation,
back. Do you see
him,
it?
yeah, he's out at the taco truck.
Yeah, right? He got real hungry.
Ooh, that would be nice. Have you at
Oh,
the time.
right? God bless it. It's just too much.
Oh,
It's too
my
much.
gosh. Well-
So it'll come to an end soon, Annette.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to other things. Aside from our lovely AIDS walk and how much fun we had that morning, what else, if anything of note, did you do in the past week since we last talked to you?
So 2 weeks because I wasn't able to join you.
That's right.
this
You
year.
weren't here last weekend.
I was listening to you guys as I was coming back, driving from Austin. I drove to Austin, Texas, and back.
That's a long ass drive.
In which car?
I'm gonna say you're not fucking around on that one, and it seems so much shorter on the map. You know,
Well, it's about an inch on the
I know.
map,
It's
depending
like
on.
this little,
Yeah.
little bit, and it says 14 hours and 2 minutes or 21, whatever, and so it takes a little bit longer than I anticipated, and to the point where I thought I was hallucinating and had to look at my Google timeline because it lets you know where
Right.
you've been.
Sure.
Because I thought maybe I'd gone to Louisiana.
yeah, like
Oh.
And just kind of, rerouting,
Texas
has
been-
recalculating
Yeah.
with my maps. But no,
Which vehicle did you drive?
I rented one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I rented one. My cousin got married, and it just seemed like the right thing. I don't know. Like, I just kind of needed to be there.
Okay.
So,
Fair. That's,
yeah.
I mean, it's a family thing. I get
yeah.
it.
And so drove there. Well, it's hot as fuck there. Now, it's real hot here, but it's hot as fuck there because it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Did you go alone?
I did.
Wow.
Let's not ever do that again.
Did you do any?
Let's not ever do a 14-hour and 2-minute drive alone.
Or 21.
Did you do audio books or did you listen to us?
Wait, it
did,
turned
actually.
into 21 hours?
It turned into like 20. Yeah, because, so 19 because of the 2-hour time change. But 19 hours, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I listened to Amy Schumer.
Okay.
And was telling you that on
Yeah.
the walk. God, it was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, great audiobook. And just too much politics.
Okay.
Because I made sure that I got the XM radio.
Right.
And so I was just going crazy with your husband, and there was all kinds of CNN.
But there's also the beauty of being able to hit 6, 7, or 8 and go to the 60s, 70s, or
Yes.
80s and just lose yourself.
At which point, well, actually, it was more about Keith Morrison. When I had
Was
taken
it murder?
Yeah.
And I went, 80s on 8 there, because it was cornfieldish kind of. And I thought, what the fuck?
Right.
But I love the Forensic Files and the Dateline kind of
And
stuff.
there's just such a swath of like absolutely nothing across the bottom of our country.
So here's
that-
what
that-
is there though. May I just?
There's not a wall there yet. So.
Yeah, there is. As you're driving through El Paso, you look to the right and you go, oh, look at that. I'm on I-10 and there's
the wall.
Yeah. Well, there are parts of
And there are.
not the wall that Donald wants to build, but there's
Right.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
There is, when we go from here, from Phoenix down to Nogales, Mexico, when you are on the Nogales, Arizona side, you look and there's a wall right there. And it's weird. And it was very surreal the first time that I saw it. Because I thought, for real? What? Shut up. You know, like,
Whew, safer now.
oh, look, there are 10 people crawling over there. Look.
They don't do it right there.
Stop them. And if you see something, say something. But I thought it was absurd. But as you're driving and you're, semi-hallucinating by that point, going through El Paso, that should be given back to anyone who wants it. No one's clamoring. I'm just saying, anyone who might want it, give it to them. You look to the right off of I-10, and there's the wall that just follows you along just this whole way. It was quite a way, and I thought, I'm not comfortable with this, and it made me think more of Donald and the wall. And I was like, oh my god.
I don't recall.
And didn't you just feel instantly safer? Like, oh my god,
had it not been for that wall,
no one can get over that. What is that? 8 feet?
right? I thought
No one
thank
can. Well,
God, well, thank.
Do you have a
Thank
ladder?
God. Thoughts and prayers. Thank God. Thank God.
I thought you were part of the Happy Goodman family for just a minute.
Well,
Thoughts
and
prayers.
all the cars that were backed up because they go off. There's a primary exit to like Juarez or something.
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
And oddly, there were not a lot of ladders, but there were a lot of shovels in the cars.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah, the chunnel.
El
It's funny-
Chapo.
every time you mention El Paso, like years and years ago, the first time I drove to Las Vegas, I had it queued up on a cassette because that was what the technology was at the time. And the second I came over the hill in Henderson, and when you see the strip for the first time, I had it queued up and played Elvis's Viva Las Vegas the first time.
Sure.
One of the first times I ever drove to California, I had queued up California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas, just because
I like it.
I've not gone to El Paso, but I want to play Marty Robbins down in the West Texas town
Sure.
of El Paso.
Sure.
I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
I
I
like
want
it.
to play that if I ever go there.
Right.
Just a thought.
I think it's
Just
fantastic.
to have it ready.
Just
Just want
ready.
to have it ready.
I enjoy that actually. I did not have anything.
Okay.
I
Queued
do
up.
remember going
But
to
I like that.
The flight to Vegas Southwest. It's like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
It's barely worth your time. But they used to have the
You
club.
can have one drink too if you order them right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you catch your attention
That's
as you're
exactly
getting
right,
on
yeah.
the plane.
Yeah.
So they used to have those club seats where you could sit facing each other.
Oh,
where
the
like
six,
the
Yeah.
six, the little club seats. And there was just a group of people that clearly had been drinking in the airport, got their round of drinks on Southwest, and like a group of them just started singing Viva Las Vegas. And I just remember the hostess, the flight attendant
attendant.
walking down the aisle. She's like, first
The
time.
hostess.
And it was
That's
just
great.
so
That's great.
like, I do this route 100 fucking times a day. You think I haven't heard Viva Las Vegas
Yeah.
before?
This is new.
Yeah.
Twilight City
great.
gonna save
Yeah.
my soul. Really?
That is.
But when I did
fantastic.
the trip last fall and we flew to San Antonio for Thanksgiving, and then we had the idea that
right.
we were going to drive from San Antonio to New Orleans because it looked close. That
Ish.
was the longest 8 fucking hours of driving, and by like hour 7.5, I'm like, we got to get out of this motherfucking car.
For
It took
real.
you that long?
It was
7.5 hours?
Yeah,
no,
right,
no.
right.
It took you 7.5 hours to want to get out of the car.
I can usually do like a 6.5
Sure.
hour drive before it's time to like.
Like in
all
LA.
We gotta pack this in.
Right,
Like the
right.
9 hours to. It takes just the right music to get me to Pismo Beach. That's like a 8.5, 9 hour drive door to door. But I know there's like wine country lurking there.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, but and there's. There's a couple things. You go through Oxnard, you go through beautiful Santa Barbara. Like, there's the coast to look at.
Right.
Oh, none of that is happening
No.
on the beautiful drive from
There was-
Texas.
there
Through
was,
Texas. You're
there
just like,
was
oh
a
my
goat,
God.
There were some cows.
Right, exactly.
Lots
And
of
they're not even the
manure.
top level farm animals.
No.
No, you're,
You're
right.
down to the paper eaters.
Well,
it was just.
driving between my hometown and here, which we've done, when you hit west of Oklahoma City, between that and Albuquerque, you go through
There
Texas.
ain't nothing.
There nothing.
Nothing.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
There ain't nothing.
It is definitely something that I don't need to do again.
What I
Ever.
I probably will at some point in my life, but I have no
No,
big
I mean alone.
anticipation.
I should say alone.
Oh.
That's that's my thing, because there were a couple of things that you have time to think.
Oh, that's one of my favorite.
And I didn't mind any of that, but one of my realizations was that I'm 46, and that when I was younger and drove from here to Minnesota, and it's like 24 hours.
Who
Big
cares?
deal. Big deal. I'd make it to like Iowa and be like, and then be like, I'll be fine. Woo! Look at that. I'm good.
Not anymore.
Nope. I hit Tucson, and I was like,
Yeah.
like,
we
what?
there yet?
I know. God, isn't it around the corner? It's much closer on the map. Mm-hmm. So, don't need to do that again. And the next time that
And around
either
hour
of
6,
you-
even I don't want to sing anymore. You know what I mean? Even I'm like,
No.
I am sung out.
Wow, for Al Perkins to say that.
terrifying, and even with all of those channels on the XM radio, didn't care. But no, just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough space. But the other pieces, if you ever hear me say something like, "No, that flight is just too expensive,"
Hit you.
yeah, smack the piss right out of me, because quite frankly, that.
But all we probably have to remind you is, well, it's a 45-minute flight as opposed to a 6.5 hour drive.
yeah, because clearly, right around, I think it was called. Oh, something horseshit, New Mexico, something. Dealey or Deemy or fuck it.
I don't even know your
I'm
name,
at-
and now I'm going to know a town in New Mexico.
Well, we have a new one for me. But the issue when I got to this place was that by then I had already done the math of, and I don't do math.
Yeah.
I was told there
You
would
know
be.
what a
a-
dark day it is then.
Of how much my time was worth
Right. Time versus money.
compared to
Oh,
this.
Deming.
Deming.
Got it.
Deming, Dealey, and by the time I got there, I really did. I was like,
Oh, I guess I've driven. I didn't realize. I guess I have driven through El Paso and didn't realize it.
well, you didn't have that queued up.
No, I didn't. But I was moving an ex to Florida, and I just was happy to be driving anywhere east of here. Because I-10, we took I-10. We took I-10, so I just knew that.
Yeah.
Got it.
You go all
Well,
down and through. So, well, good Lord.
And-
Oh, Joey, that would have been a fun drive. Then I would have been okay, but mercy.
And I mean, the most scenic drive in Arizona is up like in the fall between around Sedona up to Flagstaff. It's a
Yeah.
terrifying
Twisty,
two-lane road
turvy,
along a
right.
cliff, but it is lovely.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Love that. But
Now,
anyway,
Arizona is not all just rock and dirt and cactuses. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful scenery up north.
not a lot of tumbleweed up there.
No.
But
But it's gorgeous. I mean, around Flagstaff.
But if you take the 17 up to Flag,
Right.
then you get the tumbleweeds. Then you get
True,
the high.
that's
Then you get
true.
the high desert,
Yeah,
and it's pretty.
it was beautiful.
Austin in the heat there. So the year that Harrison graduated from medical school, and That was
Harrison. That.
realize what you did there.
well, I was gonna say from college, but
I
that
know.
sounds wrong.
And then you were like, wait
that kind of undersells it.
No.
It was one of those summers here,
it's awful,
like
man.
that. It was legitimately mercilessly hot from like March to August, and there was no relief. Like not all the rain we've had the last couple years, or like every once in a while you're like, oh, it's raining again. Like can't really bitch because.
Right. Get a reprieve.
Yeah, so it had been a relentless spring into summer, and I met up with a friend of mine from Austin who used to be the local ABC anchor there.
Okay.
And so I pull up to the Checkers Hotel in downtown LA. I pull up, open up the door for the valet, and I was like, motherfucker. And the guy's like, I'm sorry,
Excuse me?
something wrong? And I'm like, no, it's like 84 and gorgeous here.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, where are you from? And I'm like, Phoenix, Arizona, it's on fire.
That sounds like something Aaron would say. I love it. Yeah.
And for there to be that big of a difference
Yeah.
between here and LA was it was remarkable that they were at a balmy, normal summer, and we were at like 197,000 who gives a fuck degrees.
100 and Jesus.
Which luckily we
Yep.
haven't seen a summer like that in a while, but it was merciless. And then Tyler comes in. He like calls me up in my room and he's like, I heard you're here first. I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you at the bar. So I walk in, he goes, God damn it, can you believe the temperature here? And I'm like, wow, we are really violent. I'm like, how hot is Austin? He's like, it's hotter than a fucking ass there.
It's terrible.
So we go through the whole weekend and we're just enjoying being outdoors. And then the last night we went to see some friends that live at Huntington, right next to Long Beach. Is that Huntington Beach? The one that's just next to Long Beach.
That sounds right because we were going to go to one of the two of Newport Beach.
No, that's
No?
not Newport. I can't.
Okay.
I think, but anyways, but it's right next to Long Beach. So we take the drive there, and you go over this hill, and all of a sudden, you're just looking at the Pacific Ocean. And,
Newport. Newport.
no, not Newport.
Oh, okay. There's Huntington. There's Sunset. There's Huntington Beach, Sunset Beach, and Newport Beach. Right there.
Oh, so it was Huntington. I knew. Oh, so Newport's close.
Okay.
But it was Huntington Beach that my friend lived
Okay.
in. So we drive over the hill. We see the ocean, and Harrison's like, "You're not even looking at the road. You're just staring at the water." I'm like, "Oh, it's a sad time. Like I haven't seen any form of water in so long." So we get there, and it's August, and we're all like wrapped up, freezing to death, drinking wine on the beach. And there's people swimming, and we're like, "I can't believe they swim here in the winter." And everyone, and Tyler was like, it's so cold. I can't believe they're in the water. And everyone is like, are you people like this stupid? It's the middle of summer. Right. And it's 75 glorious degrees by the beach. And we're like, oh, that's right. It is still summer.
Yeah.
Like
It's 115.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a 40-degree spread between where we just came from.
We need a shovel.
And it was seriously
Right.
just a question of like, we'd only been in LA for 2.5 days and we had completely forgotten about, we're like, I can't go back there. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Or when you
that's
when
how
you
Ernie
drive in the
gets.
summer from Phoenix to San Diego and you go over the hill
Uh-huh.
and the
just
temperature
changes.
drops 35, 40 degrees and you're like, oh, why would we go back? Why would we ever
Why?
turn this car around?
Well, and I'm with, Meow, that 28 hours, but being able to split it, awesome. But being in the car with that many people is where I would be like, okay, now I'm done.
Yeah.
To have 4 people, Aaron and I we are incredibly compatible when it comes to doing the road trip. And we found that out and it was delightful. Like, because you don't know. And you can be very compatible in a relationship, but then get in a car and there's only this much space for a very, long period of time.
Well, and then you also
and
got
it
the-
went so well.
You've also got the other factor in some cases. Is she a backseat driver? Are you a backseat driver? If the other person is driving, do you lose control if that's happening?
Right. And what do you want to listen to? I thought she was trying to kill me at one point. Yeah, on the walk we talked about this.
The podcast that she chose for you?
Christ on the cross. Because when she was trying to download, because when she plays my co-pilot, she has everything queued up and then she can go to sleep and I'm good and it's fine. Well, she wanted to get me set up for success on the road. And this was
Or
a
napping.
delight. Or napping.
I like how success was kind of the asterisk there.
Yeah.
For success.
For success. And/or/death.
Yeah.
Because
Sudden death as you dozed off and crashed right
for
into
real,
the wall.
For real. Like, who sets me up? She knows. She uses my car, and I leave my driveway. And by the time, like, so I'm on 29th Street, and by the time I get to 30th Street, I'm already falling asleep. Because
You're already
she has it
sleepy.
on NPR.
Oh, no.
Right? So when I'm hearing that, I'm saying, and then I go to sleep. And then I'm done. And now I've almost crashed.
Yeah, that presidential podcast. It takes me like 4 and 5 times to get through one episode because it'll cure any insomnia. Those people talk
I
so
feel like sometimes if you're driving with
About
NPR on a road
Herbert-
trip,
Herbert
it's almost
Hoover.
like
and Hooverville.
I lose my mind.
it's our Sleep at the Wheel Fun Drive your drive.
Yeah, right.
So be sure to call in from the road if you want to.
Oh, look.
Oh, that's a
I'm sleep NPRing.
That's a delightful story.
I'll give you some money. Take my credit card.
Send $4
And
for a no dose.
yeah, terrifying. And so she had set me up with these different podcasts, and it was fantastic. And when I say set me up, I really did think for success.
See, now you need to listen to this because every once in a while I scream.
Right?
Yeah.
Nope. And that's all of a
And
sudden
that-
I'm like, how do I get to us? How do I get to us right now?
Because I've dozed off a few times and woken up to and I'm like, oh my god! It
I
sounds like-
needed the Hannibal episode, the Miss You Like Crazy. I just needed
right.
that to be on repeat. I would have just.
Or back when Jeb
For those
was,
of you asleep on the road, I just like crazy. There you go.
or back when Jeb was still in the
waking
running.
up.
Jab.
Good morning.
Jeb!
It does. If you're listening to this at a time you're trying to sleep, you just woke up.
Or entertainment. And you get that once a show.
Oh God! But it was. So those are the things that I have.
And now I
learned.
forgot why
And
the fuck did you do this?
for my
Cousin's
my
wedding.
cousin's
Oh, it's wedding, okay.
Right. And I really did think that it would be, like kind of a nice drive, but it's not. And so just again, I ever say it's too expensive to take that flight, you just look
You
at
just
me
get right on it.
and smack a bitch.
Yeah.
Smack a
Just
bitch.
Smack a bitch, because take me to the airport.
Yeah. And like my sister's coming in March and we're doing, that there's the Niagara Falls picnic out here for all the people that live here from Niagara Falls. And then there's some kind of a tour bus that's going through that place that lives on the mountain, whatever that's called. What's the place on the side of the hill that
Go
sells?
tell it.
No, where they do wine now. It used to be the hippie town.
Oh, Jerome.
Oh, Jerome.
So they go through Jerome
Sure.
and Sedona and take their time going up there. And
I sent you a message.
my sister just can't make up her mind whether she's going to do that trip to Vegas.
Okay.
But then we're going up to Vegas for her actual class reunion. Her actual
Okay.
high school reunion is in Vegas.
Oh wow.
And then come
Okay.
back. So I'm like, if I'm not gonna ride in a car with other people that I know but I don't know well enough. I don't drive in a car with anybody. It's me driving or I'm just not going.
Right.
So there's that option. And then she's talking about flying back. I'm like, well, we go back and forth on this all the time from Arizona because it's only like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive if you catch traffic right. Or you spend 5 hours by the time you check your luggage, you get your luggage, you wait in line, you get herded
That's
into the
true.
thing, you cab it back and forth to the hotel from the airport, and you do all that shit. You've lost 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah, but you're not driving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
like,
that's
we'll
my.
go back and
I'll be
forth.
honest with you. Like that's kind
But
of.
now the
my,
flights are so expensive that it's not
That's true.
worth $350.
Right.
So like, no, I
You
can
used to
be
be able
there
to get on Southwest
for like
and just,
$69.
Right,
Like,
right.
but when it's
and
like,
it wasn't bad.
no,
but,
no.
Buh. Anyway, digress. So that was my 2 weeks.
Okay. We went from you normally every week saying, oh, nothing. And now we spent 45 minutes. No, we spent 20 minutes.
But we shared.
We did share a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot there.
Yeah, so it was nice.
Now, Alfie just came off of, I think you're done. Are you done? Are you done with the teaching, getting up early?
No, two
No.
more.
Oh.
2 more days?
2 more days.
My gosh. All right. So there's that, what you're doing.
I'm days and nights. I'm just fucking tired. Yeah, that's about it.
I can believe that you're tired.
Tired and yeah, that's the whole story.
Yeah, the end.
Sunday after a terrifying porta potty incident that just
What happened?
they were all tilting one way.
Was this after we left? Did something happen?
No,
No.
this was before.
It was the very beginning.
Oh, you
Because
had like
for
a
some
smells or something?
yeah, for some reason, God knows why,
Right.
I was on just pees constantly. Like I couldn't go 5 feet without peeing. And it would be like, oh my God, I'm going to pee my pants if we don't go right now. And so I just kept having to hit those goddamn porta potties. And I walked into one that was clearly crime scene victims unit. Something really terrible happened in here.
Scene footage.
And you walk in and you kind of tilted over and I almost lost my balance and I started to like fall into everything.
I don't remember this whole story being told on Sunday.
And so I just came out and like, and there was no hand sanitizer in there. And then, and so I was like going like place to get hand sanitizer. And then I had to go to still had to pee because I still hadn't gone pee. And now I was like grossed out of my mind. Yeah. So I go in the other one that's got more of a tilt and I'm trying to like stand there. And then I found hand sanitizer. Well, then I just wanted soap and water. Like, Mama needed a cleansing, and there was just nothing there. And then finally, I went and took a Purell bath when we found one clean one in that little break that we took in the middle where we stopped. And there was one that just had a full thing of hand sanitizer, and I pretty much did my entire body with it and felt better. But that smell stayed with me, and
I remember you saying that, but I
think next year, you know that big gallon, that thing? I think I'm just going to bring that with me next year.
So and we'll just pee in it?
No, just so that
hand sanitizer.
So when you're done with whatever you've got to do, we can bathe you in that.
And I was trying to remember where they had the actual like sinks to wash your hands. I remembered it was Flagstaff Pride that had the little hand sanitizer. Then they actually had like real soap and water.
Yeah. Sure. Which those are lovely.
But it was just one of those. It was just so nasty.
I don't know who plans that. You'd think because.
And you want to know like what happened here at this hour of the morning.
Well, no. Well, maybe when they dropped them off, they shook a little bit. But I'm thinking roads typically have a curve to them because it's to shed water. So they put them against the curb on one side or the other. Well, that is kind of that's at an angle.
Oh yeah.
They're made to be on a flat surface.
And this one just went terribly awry. And it was.
I'm awry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And but went back, had a couple drinks. People wanted to meet up at
the Cobalt.
Mm-hmm.
The Cobalt, and then I was a little buzzed. Realized I didn't know where my keys were, and I was like, "No, I think at some point I put my hands in my pocket to make sure I had my keys." But then your mom was nice enough to say that they were
in her car.
Were in her back seat. So
sure.
I Ubered it. Well, first I Ubered it, and the guy couldn't find me at Cobalt. He was on Thomas Road. It kept sending the Uber to Thomas Road.
Okay. Right.
And the guy was calling me, and I was calling. I'm like, listen, just cancel this. You can't find me. I can't explain where I am.
Driving in circles.
His accent was so thick. I'm like, I'm just trying to get you to Park Central Mall. He didn't understand what Park Central Mall was, or that I was on the other side of the mall. And if I was gonna walk to the other side of Park Central Mall, I'm just gonna walk the fuck home. At this point.
Yeah.
So I canceled that, got charged for that, and then I had to Uber it to your house and then to there. But that guy was really sweet, and he combined it all together for a $5 drive. But
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we're here. Clayton.
Did the walk we keep talking about with everybody. But this week, the opening of a new hotel in Central Phoenix, which I was part of the installation for. So their official first day was today. So it's been interesting to watch, something that was a building that was pretty disheveled old building that was the hotel that it was. Mm-hmm. And they gutted it and redid it all. And I've watched it come completely through. The rising of a phoenix, if you will, and today was their first day of operation for the hotel for the restaurant and the bar. I don't know when their first dates of occupancy are, but I found out that there are 104 rooms in there, and I thought there were only 80. There's 104 rooms in that hotel.
Okay.
So anyway, so it's opening up, so that's kind of cool. So that's been the big thing of my week for that, and then of course this weekend is the annual BS West Halloween show that we used to be involved in. So that's this Saturday. So my entire weekend this weekend will be saddled with that. Just that's my Saturday. It's like I just get up, I go, and I'm just there until it's done, and then I come back with all that equipment because I have to go set up and tear down.
Sure.
But I'm just glad it's one day and it's over. My prep for it is going to be the rest of this week because I have to prep some equipment.
Do you guys miss being in that?
No. Not now. It's different than it used to be, in the people that do it. For me, I can't speak for Al, but it's not the same people. When I did it, Al was in it, and there were just a lot of other people who had done it for so many years, and it was just more fun.
Okay.
And I don't think it is, even viewing it, it's not as fun as it used to be.
Okay.
That's just my personal take on it.
Sure.
And it was all I did. Hey, Kat. It was.
Hey, Kat. Hello.
It was all I did for August and September and October. Like it was a good 8 to 10 weeks of planning and rehearsal and putting shit together. That now I'm like, I can't even imagine putting in that much time on something. Right. Like
I mean, granted, we're looking at it from a for 20 years past when we used to be
driving
doing it.
to Austin, driving to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, very
24, 46.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get it,
I mean,
yeah.
the first time I did the show was 22 years ago. I was, I was a young lady.
You sure were.
Full of piss and vinegar.
Sir or
Now I'm just
ma'am.
piss and vinegar. That
Right,
used to be a young lady.
Now you're just pissing vinegar because of prostate. And the people that are in it, like as far as, is anyone still in it?
Oh, yeah.
From,
There's
Fernelli's
well,
still
of course,
in it.
right.
I can't think of who. Danny's no longer. She bailed. She's
I
no
think
longer-
Aaron Waddy still does it.
Aaron does. He's just still in it.
The great Las Vegas couldn't tell Cliff and Aaron apart, so both of them ended up in the show. And that was
right.
not me that did that. That was not me. That was
that Fernelli?
yeah,
Yeah.
That's funny.
it was.
Couldn't
That's
tell.
really funny.
And
No, and we were liquored to the tits.
Sure. Liquored to the tip.
But I
I
agree.
appreciate that.
But I agree with Al. I mean, they commit to a theme like in June or July, and then they start like August 1st is when
kind
they
of
start
a committee
rehearsals.
comes up with it, right?
Right.
Like
They get together
Yeah.
and decide what they're going to do, and then you split up into I want to do this number, however that works, and then it's not in August. So
Oh, and we used to rehearse outside at 7 p.m. in August every Monday, every Monday night, like dancing on concrete sidewalks and around planters and Jesus.
yeah. So
I remember serving you people.
But it was
so.
and then we would go see your fine establishment and
fantastic.
drink and
yeah.
Fantastic.
So aside from that, I'm just
Appreciate
waiting
that.
for fall in Arizona to get fixed and it quit being 100 degrees in the 25th. We're 2 months from Christmas. Only because I only know because it's the 25th right now of October, and it's still 97 degrees in the daytime in Arizona right now, in Phoenix at least.
yeah.
But next week we
But
get
we go through
it's-
this. But we go through this every year
It
because
seems like it's
But
longer.
it does seem later this year. And it's very funny being with someone who's not a handler of the heat.
yeah.
Because I am pretty damn certain that last night or the night before, Erin was kicking her feet. Like she was sitting there and she's like, when's it gonna be nice? Like maybe not in that voice,
she
but
like
it felt
5
like
years
it.
old?
Right, but it felt like it.
There was a
And
temper tantrum.
it was a because she goes on her phone every day and looks at the weather,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like, don't do that. It's try
Yeah,
to
you-
stay away from it. Just
yeah.
stay away from it. Because it's saying, the weather people are saying, oh, it's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be, 98.
Yeah.
And then how did that happen? And where did the temperatures come from? So she's freaking out about it.
And there was
Poor
the
thing.
infamous trip through the fire in oh god, one of Harrison and I's favorite
I agree,
things.
Joe. I
the
agree.
trip through the fire that a friend of mine, my friend Greg and I were hiking one day, and it was the week before we were in the Halloween show. The next week we were on a hike and we're like, that's fucking it. Call Carlton, call Justin. We're going to San Diego later tonight. And we drove to San Diego that night, just partied and drank on the beach in San Diego, met up with Harrison because she lived in San Diego at the time. Never turned on the news, never watched anything but Comedy Central or sat on the beach and drank in our room. And then drove back through what we thought was snow. And then,
Fire.
then the question of,
oh, no.
is that sunrise? It's like,
No.
that's fire. And then it jumped across the highway. And then everyone at the show was like, and this was like, we got back like the morning of the show or the morning before, and everyone was like, how did you get across the 10? It was, or the 8. They're like, it was closed.
sure.
And I'm like, no, it wasn't. They're like, yeah, it is. Oh no, we drove right,
Right
through
through
it.
it.
That was what we were driving through. Like we missed
Shit.
the barricades. Like we didn't do anything.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So we're just
How scary
But
is
when
that?
when we went out to the car and the whole time we were on the beach, we're like, oh look, it must be raining over the mountains. Look how dark the sky is. Completely oblivious. And then the morning that we left,
Is that autumn sunrise?
yeah, the morning that we left San Diego, I like ran my finger across the top of the car and I was like, that's snow. And we all looked at each other because we hadn't been sober long enough to get a coherent thought going. This was our first real attempt at sobriety. And I remember Justin being like, I'm not sure what that is. And then we just drove, and then we find out we drove through, and now it's one of the biggest fires in
Southern California
history. And we drove right into the beast.
Is it soot?
And then as the fire literally jumped across the freeway, we were on it. Like we were like, oh, that can't be good.
No.
Meanwhile, you don't realize that you're on CNN as the lone car going across the 8.
Was that a Ford Focus?
And Harrison calls me like a couple days. She's like, "You didn't even call to check on me." I'm like, "You let us drive through it."
You didn't even tell us.
Yeah, you didn't even tell us the city was on fire. You let us drive.
And we're to be worried about you? What's happening?
The Rancho Cucamonga fire, I think it was.
Sounds like something like that.
It could be.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
Well, we're gonna come back in just a second with the drinking word and headlines and so much more. Q Talk America.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
If you think it sucked so far, just wait till after this 30-second dance break.
Well, the squirrels are back in the attic. Your dad won't call an exterminator. He says it's personal this time. Where are you? It's very loud there. Are you taking a Zumba class?
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And now, a drink-along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck. Oh, our
I didn't think I had to cue you on that.
Is that lovely lady still talking?
It's Val. Val does our voiceover.
Val does our voiceover. She's got a lovely speaking voice.
Who is she? She's pretty.
It's totally like
She
just.
sounds lovely.
Usually,
I think she's
sometimes
very,
I
very
won't point at you
beautiful.
for that, but I thought for sure you knew where we were going.
No, I was just reading.
Sounds pretty.
Well, I think we have to go with the traditional spelling.
Traditional spelling. I love that line. It cracks me up every fucking time. All right, so traditional spelling is our.
We will go with the traditional spelling.
Traditional spelling, everything. All right, I think Marnie's got it together. We're gonna try it.
Oh,
Here we
wow.
go. Some headlines
Good on us.
on a what is it? Tuesday? Yeah, we do this every Tuesday. You and me and all the ships at sea on a Q Talk America, the 25th of October. Here we go. Oh wait, where's my hickey do? Oh, here we go. Man dressed as tree blocks traffic.
Fire ants, fire ants.
Cubs win, and you heard it here first.
Well, queers are lacing Halloween candy.
Message sent and received 50 years later.
Thank God Trump's going to cure the homosexuals.
Self-driving truck delivers beer.
Drunk woman leaves her car.
And
I did
I'm
this.
too busy with my first Grace reading to be bothered with who you are. These and other stories coming right now. Did we step on each other at all?
I don't think so, but I had to skip a couple. So I was like, wait a minute, which one should I jump to?
Got it.
So we did not, though.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad we didn't, because I don't like to step on you.
know.
But it's
Well.
usually, I can always tell because you stutter with your sequence. Like, what are we doing?
So I was like,
Well, this one, a man in Maine who made headlines this week for dressing as a tree and blocking traffic said his stunt was inspired by a desire to slow down the world. Asher Woodworth, who's 30 years old, was arrested in Portland, Maine on Monday for obstructing a public way after he covered himself in evergreen branches and stood in the middle of a busy intersection. Let's cut to a picture of him standing in said intersection. There he is. He was captured on video moving at a glacial pace as officers led him off the road and into handcuffs. The speed, he said, was the key to the performance. He says, I'm a tireless advocate for slowness and quietness and stillness. We could use a lot of those things in the world right now, Woodworth told Time magazine on Tuesday. I guess I was just meditating one day and this very clear vision of this performance came to my head and I knew I needed to do it. The larger project was to see how the unlikely demonstration would impact people's social choreography, Woodworth said. He tested out this same thing on a smaller scale back in 2008 when he moved slowly through a supermarket's checkout aisle. Similar to Monday's unwilling participants, people were not pleased with his activity.
Just run the fucker over.
Just run him over. It says it took Woodworth about 2 hours to construct the costume, he said. He first walked through the woods collecting an assortment of branches from different evergreen trees, and then he had a friend help him tie several layers of branches onto his clothes using twine, working from the bottom up. He says the headpiece was sort of like a safari hat covered in mesh that he wove pieces of the pine boughs into. Police officers deconstructed the outfit on the sidewalk before taking him into custody. He was released from jail on a $60 bail. He said he is due back in court December 1st. He declined to say how he planned to plead. Woodworth has no criminal history, with the Portland, Maine Police Department officials said.
He's pleading Oak. He'll just be Oak.
I can just imagine. You just stand in a crosswalk and you're playing chicken with cars at this point, really.
Run his ass over.
That's fantastic. Well, fire ants are being laced with homosexual chemtrails.
Oh.
And they are to bite Christians and convert them to homosexuality.
We've seen a lot of their hair. We don't really want them.
You don't know. They're very pretty fire ants.
Not the fire ants' hair. Some of those good Christian bitches.
Oh, good Christian bitches, yes. I was like, well, wait a minute. No, they're lovely. The homosexual chemtrail concoction contains a high concentration of gay endorphins. Sources confirm that several exclusive gay clubs are collecting the spent sweat of late-night homosexuality. Traditional spelling.
Of spent sweat, yeah.
That's right.
Latte. Latte.
Then
latte sweat.
Then it's then sent to a laboratory where in vitro techniques were used to create the potent new form of biological homosexual chemtrail. Yeah. When the scientists presented this sweet-tasting mixture of gay body sweat and homosexual chemtrail to fire ants, they found the ants themselves take on the characteristics of a late-night gay man glistening with sweat at a dance party. Exhausted but fueled by lurid drug combinations, constantly
but ecstatic.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Thirsty and high affinity toward heterosexual pheromones. When placed next to a person who is not homosexual, the ants become restless and aroused. They lift their brightly colored abdominal area in the air as if some form of coital temptation. Their jaws ravenously snapping toward the flesh of any non-gay person in their proxy. Traditional spelling.
Where did you get this story?
The fuck?
Please tell me this is an Onion story.
Nope. So, this shows that the gay endorphins in the chemtrail are giving these fire ants the same desires gay men have for straight men. Fiercely strong and relentless. Various Christian neighborhoods in Texas have
I don't
been
recall
reporting...
there being any relentless pursuant on my part of any heterosexual male ever.
Various Christian neighborhoods in Texas have been reporting a sharp increase in these chemtrail-laced fire ants, and the CDC is reporting that a higher incidence of homosexuality is taking place in Texas. This is all likely part of Obama's...
Oh, there it is. Traditional spelling.
Traditional.
Jade helmet invasion, but the Texas chapter of the Christian Defense League suggests homeowners spray all of their doorways with bug guard and be vigilant in not becoming victimized by one of these.
Now, by the way, this study was actually sponsored by Bug Guard Incorporated.
Yes.
Well,
Wow.
one bite. It just takes one bite.
Just one
It
look.
likely contains a high
That's all
enough
it
chemical
took.
concentration to make a man at least secretive or agnostic toward his growing desires of homosexuality.
Growing desires. Well, and Nan says the next thing you'll say, homosexual is called by mosquitoes, which would
be.
explain why I'm not getting any, because mosquitoes hate me.
Right.
Well,
right.
professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Traditional spelling.
We
Very nice.
stay away from each other. They don't bother me. I don't bother them.
Wow. I know. I mean, that's right. I mean, we get the earthquakes, floods. We get everything. We are blamed for
Free with
everything.
malaria.
But what's funny is they blame us for everything, but yet they claim we have no power.
Yeah.
But we apparently have all the power.
All the power.
All
All
of
of
it.
it.
We clearly do.
Duh.
We can do anything.
And not to bring everything back to the election,
Please do.
but I read an article yesterday that's on a friend's page who she's trying to convince everyone that voting for Gary Johnson is a good idea.
Oh, Lord.
That he's not totally lost at sea and unprepared for any job.
That's the traditional
Let alone
spelling.
C.
Let
What's a
alone-
C? What's C? What's a C?
Where is that?
Where is that?
Is that near Aleppo? What's Aleppo?
Does Aleppo have a C?
Other countries have leaders?
No.
So
Right.
this article talks about how a few years ago, Trump gave a speech about his belief in open borders and free trade and how it was good for America, and how he suddenly changed on that, and that he's secretly friends with Hillary and that he's just a plant for Hillary. And I was like, how did we get from he changed his position on one more thing to Hillary somehow rigged the Republican primaries to make sure that because he made himself out to be a great person and a statesman for the Republican primaries, but she somehow rigged all of those primaries as well as the Democratic primaries to make sure that she ran against her secret weapon, best friend, and co-author of this great shenanigan.
She's very powerful. She has
So
stamina.
I was like, so I just said,
Stamina.
and she's like, well, it's just suspicious. I'm like, okay, you're not dumb enough to fall for this. Just read through what you just accused her of.
They don't read.
And try to make this. What it was? No, the story was like 3 paragraphs, but the conclusion was just like, wow, that was like a 17-mile jump.
Sure.
I'm like, if she's in control of the Republican primaries, the Democratic primaries, and she's rigging this election, fuck, make her president. She can do anything.
She can do anything.
She's,
She's amazing.
She's the great and powerful Oz at
Yes,
this
she
point.
is.
She is. Yep. But we knew that.
But it's all suspicious. No, he just changed his mind about one more thing.
Right.
But somehow you had to make it against Hillary so you can vote for the guy in mom jeans who's completely stoned. I have nothing against it.
Being
But
stoned or
that-
mom jeans?
Well,
Either. Well,
stoned. Let's be honest with the mom
for
jeans.
real. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But for real, that guy
A man with camel toe is not to be trusted.
not to be trusted.
Oh, I
And
think
if-
of that
well,
picture
I mean,
of
Chris
Christie.
Christie is moose knuckle. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole lot. There's a
That's a fist bump gone all wrong.
there's a lot there.
I don't know why I always want to fist bump him.
I don't know.
Moose knuckle, traditional spelling.
I don't know why I always covering up my meal when I'm near him.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
It's shaking bacon. I help.
They can't give out food stamps because there's no more food left in New Jersey.
No, he's very hungry.
Or he's eating the stamps. We're not sure which one.
Chris, did you eat the stamps again? Did you misunderstand what food stamps were?
They're on the bread.
It said food.
It said food on it, right?
I was hungry.
It says food right here on the label.
Right.
And it was the traditional spelling of food, so you can't blame him.
No,
All right,
that's
not
fair.
like P-H-O-O-D.
Yeah, very misleading.
P-H-U-D.
Yeah.
Fud.
Fud.
Oh my god.
Is it me? Is it my turn?
It's you.
Got it. Well,
Yeah.
you know I'm not really a sports fanatic. I don't really follow a lot of
Really?
sports things. Not at
I
all.
didn't know.
Not at all. However, I thought this story was interesting, and I thought, well, in my defense, I thought Kat was going to be here, and I thought that young man would appreciate the story. But she is in the chat room somewhere, so maybe Kat Carlson can chime in on this. Chicago Cubs fans are looking at a 1993 yearbook photo taken in Mission Viejo, California, as a sign of good fortune. The Cubs last won a World Series, for those of you who don't know, in 1908, but in 1993, Michael Lee outrageously predicted a World Series win for the Cubs in his yearbook picture. In fact, we will show you here is what his yearbook picture was and his caption saying,
beauty.
Chicago Cubs 2016 World Champions. You heard it here first.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, fantastic.
So-
Where's Michaelina?
So that's what he had put. Now, he cheekily added, of course, you heard it here first. The photo has since gone viral after Twitter user Thomas Dale posted a photo of the yearbook prediction that he said that his mother had found. Admittedly, faking a yearbook pic is easily done and well within the realm of capable Photoshop people if they wanted to do it. However, one Reddit user named #1 Make It So claims to have found 4 other copies of the same yearbook and that Lee's prediction in those yearbooks is all the same. In fact, here is a copy of the page that has been posted where he is with other people from that era. And Lee's former classmate, Marcos Meza, never forgot the prediction, according to what he told WGN-TV. He said, when Lee and I connected on Facebook back in 2009, I sent him the photo and told him that we were nearing 2016. He posted the photo of his prediction on August 8th, Meza told the station. After my Dodgers lost it was time for me to make it go viral and make believers out of everybody for the Cubs in 2016. The station has been in contact with Lee, who fittingly lives in the Chicago area and is waiting to see if his prediction comes true. But wouldn't that be amazing if back in 93 he's predicting
Seriously.
that the Cubs would be
And what year was this picture taken?
93.
Yeah, that's fun.
93.
That's nice hair for 93. Now, I want you to pull back on that a little bit. Pull out some.
Oh,
And notice how poor Jody
Traditional.
just has nothing to
Nothing.
say.
She wasn't busy. She had nothing. Yeah.
well, she didn't like where she was placed.
or
in
not
the
available
yearbook.
for comment.
I just love what do you have to say to the future you? Nothing. Traditional spelling.
Traditional. N-O-T.
You feel free to leave it blank.
I love it. That's fantastic. There was have to go political a little bit. A Trump supporter.
A little bit?
Well.
You just...
Poor unfortunate soul.
Oh, we should...
Poor unfortunate soul. Well, she really is, because God bless her.
Oh, yeah.
God bless her. You know, he is, according
That's
to
a he?
he being Trump.
Oh.
By the way, we say the same thing there. That's a he, but
My bad. I was with him, though. I saw that. I'm like, is that Michael Moore?
well, I'm with her. I'm with her. Trump is going to make America great again, according to
This
this.
is all my thoughtfulness to the trans community right there. That's a he?
Right. Well, no.
Yep, right down the drain.
All gone.
Next week on our show, Jeffrey Tambor comes in and explains how he got the role.
Talks to us about sensitivity
Thank you.
and
Jeffrey.
non-judgmental.
We'll play a speech later. But Trump, this supporter, her name is Barbara. She is a...
That sounds like a TV movie. Her name is
Her
Barbara.
name is Barbara.
Traditional spelling.
Barbara doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah. Barbara, can you hear me?
Well, she lives in Nevada.
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 No, it's Nevada.
It's Las Vegas, Nevada.
I was trying to change it to the improper.
Yeah, as Trump calls it, Nevada.
Nevada.
While people are yelling at him with the correct pronunciation.
Exactly. But she
Dumbass.
says that Trump is going to make America great again. How?
How?
Well, he's going to make it great again, like before the homosexuals. The homosexuals.
So we're going back to the literal beginning of time.
Beginning of time.
Wow.
Yes. And so right now, just so that everybody knows, I'm just trying to pause and go through this because all I can see is a headline because my computer won't move.
Oh. I don't
That's
know
all.
what in the hell we got to do with that
I don't
thing.
know, but
I'm tired of it.
something
Apple, if you're listening. Apple, can you hear
Apple,
me?
can you hear me?
We've got an iMac that's just got problems, and for some reason your store at the Biltmore doesn't seem to fix it.
It doesn't. No, it does not want to. So anyway, if
Can you paraphrase?
well, I
Can you
would
hum
love-
a few bars?
I would love.
Apple, can you hear me?
We'll try it again. Anyway, so Barbara's a cunt, and I'm gonna go. Well,
Wow.
Well,
we
well-
paraphrased the shit out
yep,
of that.
took that right turn. Just that was all that there is to that. Now,
We paraphrased the fuck out of that one. Oh,
this is broken.
Okay, here we go.
Broken.
I'm gonna. It's the best part. It's gonna be under. This comes to us from Raw Story,
Raw story. It is raw story.
raw story.
and
Is it in yet?
Is it?
Melissa Etheridge's evil doppelganger.
It really is. Barbara is her doppelganger.
All right, I'm
It's
gonna put
true.
the link in so you can see. All
We're gonna let
She's
Al.
terrifying.
Al's gonna read this story because Marnie's computer won't let her do it.
right, so it's
Like
gonna,
it also.
I'm just trying. I don't know what to do about that
I
computer
don't
anymore.
either.
Let me put the link in here so you can see her picture because it really does look like Melissa Etheridge on a really off day.
Bad day.
Have you seen Melissa lately?
No, but that's the point.
She's aging. Melissa's
Yes,
aging.
God bless her.
Still love her.
So Donald Trump supporter told CBS News this week that she hopes the Republican candidate would take America back to a time before abortions and the homosexuals, traditional spellings. Following the third presidential debate, Face the Nation host John Dickerson, whatever spelling that
Oh,
is,
that's
Yeah,
Dickerson. Traditional.
spoke to a group of voters in Nevada about why they support either Trump or Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. A voter named Barbara explained that she was motivated to support Trump because morality and values were important to her. So go with the thrice divorced pussy grabber.
Right.
Based on what the country was based on, she said, I think
think.
Maybe.
that the laws that Obama has passed, the way the country has, I call it downturning. Some of the other people are proud of it and happy for it. I am personally against it. The homosexuals, the abortions, all the stuff.
All the stuff.
All
Because
the stuff.
because it's the homosexuals are the ones having the abortion.
All the stuffs. And I'm
We do.
against it.
We do have a lot of them.
More than you can ever imagine.
I'm exhausted personally from it.
I'm saying.
When Donald Trump says make America great again, is that what you hear? Dickerson wondered. That it's going to go back to before the time you're now describing. That's part of it, Barbara agreed. Confronted with the possibility that Clinton could win the election, Barbara replied with the two words, oh no. She needs prayer, the Trump supporter said. The country always needs prayer.
Thoughts and prayers.
Nope.
No, we
No.
don't.
No.
We're good.
No.
I'm good.
But for real, before the homosexuals. I know, Aaron, I think that's where I saw it was that when you shared that. It was ridiculous.
Oh, you know what? I just realized that I'm sitting here on my, and I haven't looked into the chat room to see this link. I'm going to look.
Spidey senses tingle. But I just... so the guy that the fool that is he sits alone in his committee meeting. He's the Latinos for
Barbara.
Trump. He's the one that said that if Hillary Clinton is elected president, you'll have a taco truck at every corner.
Right, yes.
Every
Which is a
time
lovely
he
idea.
says Clinton,
Clinton.
it's so much fun.
I want to live in America. I want to live where the Clintons are.
And he just gives it such a delightful. If someone said my name and made it sound like Clinton, I'd be like, everyone say my name like that.
Yeah.
You could be Perkin.
See,
Oh, there you go.
Perkin.
Oh.
but he just says
like
it and
it.
he offers me a taco truck. How am I gonna lose?
If we
You
could
can't
get
lose.
Cheetah
You can't
Rivera to record all of our voices
but
in that
even
little,
she couldn't give it the little twist that he gives
a
it.
little twist.
Stop it.
Yapple dapple.
Yeah.
Have a Smurgatory. It's a Clinton.
And it just sounds like something you want to keep in your garage. I mean,
No.
not in a collector sort of
No, but like, what,
human bondage sort
would you
of
like
way.
to see my 2016 Clinton?
Yeah,
See, and
I only
Amina-
drive it on rare occasions.
Amina says, well, not so many thoughts are involved in Barbara's prayers, and that's so true.
That's so true.
prayers. I mean,
Prayers
for real,
without
yeah,
thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a new
Thoughts
segment.
minus prayers.
I do like prayers without thoughts.
Thoughts sans prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Prayers sans
Sans
thought.
prayers.
I
We'll say
like
it.
that.
Prayers sans
Thoughts and
thoughts, yeah.
thoughts and
Yeah.
fans prayers.
The usual people that correct my French pronunciations are missing, so
Clinton.
songs,
Sans. Okay.
prayers on thoughts.
Oh, horse shit.
Well, everyone just say hello to Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Barbara, can you hear me? No, because I'm a homosexual.
Stop it.
Oh, look, I have more coffee. Well, let's put the coffee down. A family in New Hampshire received a message in a bottle written by her deceased father more than 50 years ago after it was found.
Didn't say like let the dog out or something, right?
Who did?
No. Whoop, whoop.
Don't forget to feed the dog. Oh, damn.
After the bottle, or after the message was found 1,500 miles away, Cliff Buffington, a teacher from Utah, was
Traditional spelling on that one?
Which one? Buffington? Yeah.
Yeah, either.
Clint Buffington,
teacher.
a teacher from Utah, was vacationing in the Turks and Caicos in
Caicos.
the Caribbean back in 2011 when he noticed a Coca-Cola bottle lodged in the sand. Well, he returned the bottle this week. Here's a picture of the bottle with the message inside of it right there.
Looks exactly like I was expecting, a Coca-Cola bottle with a message inside of it.
It looked like it had been there. He says
No surprises in this picture at all.
Buffington told ABC affiliate WMUR that it looked like it had been there since the beginning of time. After cracking open the bottle and unraveling the water-damaged letter inside, Buffington found enough words legible for him to locate the original address from where it was sent. Wow. The long-lost message, written in 1960 by Paul and Tina
Turner?
No. No, actually it's
Wasn't sure.
it's traditional spelling. It's TSIATSIOS. Satios? I don't know.
Yeah, I like
Whatever. The owners of the Beachcomber Motel just off the coast of Hampton Beach. The note reads, return to 419 Ocean Boulevard and receive a reward of $150 from Tina, owner of the Beachcomber. According to the report, I'm going to get off this picture again, go back to us, bingo. The message was initially cast into the sea as a joke, though it has not ended as one. Quote, this is special because it brings back a piece of him, a piece of her, and a piece of my childhood, and a piece of the Beachcomber.
What the fuck was in that bottle?
Calm down. Paula, whatever the T word is, Pierce, daughter of the hotel's former owners, told WMUR Channel 9, all of these things are very hard to lose. Paula's parents have since passed away and her family sold the motel. Buffington boarded a plane to New Hampshire to deliver the long-lost letter to Paula. She insisted that Buffington take the $150 that her father had promised in the letter.
Seems fair.
She says he didn't want it, but it completes the circle, she said. I thought that he should have it. But I think that's so cool. That long ago, somebody finds a bottle and they actually... Because I would
My
do
first
that.
would be fucking litter bugs.
Well, no, but if there's a message inside, there's a treasure map.
And I was enjoying the... From the beginning of time. You know Jesus didn't have a Coca-Cola that day, right?
Probably not.
Also, somebody shows up at my door and says, it says in this note you owe me $150.
I got a note right here.
Fuck you up. That's right.
I loved it.
I am not paying you any money.
I spent $500 in
Who
plane
put that
fare.
in the note? Who gave you my address? Bullshit.
Fucking stalkers.
Look like your dad's writing. Paul and Tina, you know them?
That's right. No.
Saressa,
No.
It says right here, you owe me $150.
That's right. Somebody's going to pay me my money. No. No, we're not.
Though that sounded like it.
It was a note containing a screenshot of a tweet from the beginning of time.
Beginning of time.
It was God talking
Where
to
Jesus was.
Traditional
to
spelling.
Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah. God was talking
It's
to the
the
Donald.
traditional Aramaic spelling of Coca-Cola.
That's fantastic.
The Arabic. The bottle was actually, if you look,
Sanskrit, Aramaic.
Sanskrit. That's nice.
if you look
I like
closely, it's actually in Arabic. I think the Coca-Cola, traditional spelling. I know.
God, hopefully, I'm just going one story at a time, and hopefully they'll just come up.
That's how the show gets put together
Well,
weekly.
I
Just
mean, rather than having
one
them
foot
up.
in front of the other.
One in front of the other.
Traditional
Okay, so-
walking.
Well, with Halloween coming up.
Oh,
All
yes.
Hallows Eve, yes.
All Hallows Eve or Diwali. We call it either one, right?
Or Diwali?
Because, I mean,
What's that mean?
Well, or
Joey from Canada. Joey,
Jesus.
Fuck
you and I are on a lot of the same wavelengths with regards to that.
I think he's going back to my curse the few weeks ago
Oh,
that
yeah.
went all wrong because of the lack of comma.
Like a punctuation. Fuck! Jesus!
Yeah. What was meant to be two separate swear words came out as one
How do you-
horrifying blasphemous phrase.
How do you... Let's help Uncle Jack off a horse, or let's help
hug
Uncle
Uncle
Jack
Jack
off a horse.
traditional jacking off.
Traditional jacking.
Yeah,
Traditional uncle foreplay.
correct.
for the horse.
What he does. I can't explain what he does with my uncle. It's not my job.
You can leave my horse out of this.
My Little Pony is a whole new meaning.
Now that my uncle's been sullied, can I keep your horse?
I hear it's little.
But fast.
Is his name Jack?
Look at that son of a
going
bitch run!
Oh, Kula in
Coca-Cola.
Amaric.
Coca-Cola.
Amaric means erect penis. Well,
Coca-Cola.
there you
that's
go.
going to come in handy.
You want it? Oh!
One in the hand. Two in the bush.
Two in the bush.
Yeah. It's a filthy expression. And did you know they're talking about birds? That game is a surprise.
This is
That is not the traditional
is
use of
going
one in my
downhill.
hand
This
or
is going-
two in the bush.
so fast. It's going
Traditional
downhill.
bush.
Traditional bush. Yeah.
It's going downhill.
Sans
very
Brazil.
Oh my God.
Sans bush. Right now. Well, I want to tell you about Halloween.
Oh, please do.
Welcome aboard.
This has been confirmed.
Okay.
Confirmed. The gays.
Oh my God.
God damn it. What do we do now?
We're very busy.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't even get off my couch and I get so much done.
Or you get blamed for so much either way.
I know.
Gays are lacing Halloween candies with homosexual-inducing
I
drugs.
heard of this.
Halloween, commonly known in the homosexual community as Gay Christmas,
Christmas.
Okay,
I was
Christmas,
gonna
that's
say,
true.
right.
is one of the most dangerous days of the year for heterosexual men. With men showing off their bodies with the hunky cop and Egyptian ab pharaoh outfits, gays cannot help but salivate and have the time of their lives as they watch from afar, waiting to unload their tainted candies upon unsuspecting dads.
Candy
and
taint.
Tastes just
traditional
like candy.
spelling.
Traditional spelling. Candy taint.
Upon unsuspecting dads and frat boys
Oh.
Oh.
just trying to enjoy a good night out. While parents are most often focused on inspecting the candy that their kids may eat after trick-or-treating, the CDC again is reporting.
They
the
are
CDC
busy
is
over there.
busy.
Jesus.
God.
They're as
The gays
busy as I am.
and the CDC,
We'd barely get a
hand
day
in
off.
hand.
Yep.
thoughts and prayers to both.
Like dykes and dogs.
Well, it
we get
just-
along.
Like Dyson dog.
Yeah, and you know, really, handies and horses.
Handies and horses. And an uncle who's really gone astray.
That's right. Two hands.
Never
in a
leaves the
bush.
farm. I don't understand.
Weird. Anyway, so the CDC is reporting the greatest threat actually involves candies put out at private or corporate Halloween parties, where inside sources, many people, believe me, report gays commonly prey on the lone straights.
They should
They
learn
catch
to travel
their
together.
eye and casual. They should, buddy system.
Check out TripAdvisor. It's easier that way.
Anyway, so the gays, right?
Mm-hmm.
They when the lone straights catch their eye, they casually offer them the candy. Hey, little boy, you want a piece of candy?
thought it was
And
fireball
and it-
shots.
And it could be
right.
laced with it's hot tamale candies.
Okay.
Laced with illicit homosexual inducing drugs such as, you know, minced up marijuana or liquid ecstasy kind of stuff. You know, either one. Being no strangers to intense raver and party scenes, most gays have great mastery of chemical and mixing drinks and candies so that the taste of an underlying drug is concealed.
Oh.
These skills.
Was it Skittles?
Was it Skittles?
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I heard 1 in 3 is,
Yeah.
you know, it'll kill you.
How stale are
The
these?
Who cares?
shouldn't be too still.
There's enough
they don't
preservatives
get
in these.
stale.
So these skills are shut up, Marnie. Routinely employed on Halloween to make lurid concoctions that will leave 1 out of 5 men waking up groggy, without memories, and sometimes without their costumes the Sunday after Halloween.
And a burning sensation in their rectum.
Odd.
No.
The CDC confirms that single straight men are the most at-risk demographic to be the victim of Halloween tainted Halloween candies or party drinks this Halloween, and should use the buddy system, as we pointed out, to make
Safety,
sure they
safety,
return
safety.
home safely. Now, thank God, the Christian Defense League of Texas again has gotten involved.
Barbara,
They're very busy.
Barbara on patrol.
Could be.
She's-
Could be. This is Barbara's got her hands in the candy
Yeah.
dish. She or
Yeah.
the Christian Defense League of Texas encourages partygoers to avoid any brightly homosexually colored candies handed out at parties.
Dun,
and also,
dun, dun. Taste the rainbow. Was it murder?
and also to be suspicious of retro candies. You know, that may invoke nostalgia. but are surely laced
Like
in
Butterfinger?
Well, it could be.
Mounds
So you got lured into butt sex
from a
by your
crispity-
love of an Almond Joy. Sometimes it's
Well,
got
they
nuts.
enjoy
a
that nut.
crispity crunchity Butterfinger.
So it's kind of, the one in the hand, two in the bush. You
Yeah.
got one enjoys that nut, the other don't.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
You don't know.
Oh, that nostalgia makes me
You
want to
don't
take it
know.
in the ass.
I'm just telling you, it's kind of like sugar daddies. What? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, but these things, these candies, these retro candies are sure to.
Sometimes I think the show is just dirty.
Our show?
they're
Just the things I say out loud are kind of filthy.
They're surely laced and primed to cause a man to become pliable in a homosexual encounter.
I have a question.
Christian Defense League of Texas says so.
Pliable.
Pliable.
What websites are you checking for these? Where are you getting this shit?
The CDC. She's just calling
I find some of
Atlanta
the strange-
to
I
find
don't know
Coca-Cola bottles. And
I'm not
things.
kidding. On the side of my feet, like when I go for to answer my emails, my WikiLeaks.
Right, but
When I go to check this shit out, I look at the side of
right,
and I think,
but you
oh
realize,
my God.
okay, can I give you just a little bit of a
Sure.
little tip on this now?
Sure.
Okay,
Just
Can I
the
eat
tip.
my retro candies?
you can
while you tell me?
eat your candies.
Just the tip.
You realize that a lot of the shit that's on the side that you click on,
Yeah.
that's why your computer doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's funny. So I,
Fair trade.
so I just go into that malware thing that you do, and I constantly am just kind of.
I don't mind the
care.
smelling, but I hate the itching.
Yeah, totally. It's fine.
It hurts when I do that. Well, stop doing it.
No pain, no gain.
Oh my gosh.
I wish some of these stories were real because that sounds fantastic.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
I can go out in a brightly lit costume on Halloween
Right.
with a couple of sugar daddies and an Almond Joy and what's your one? Butterfingers.
Butterfingers.
Traditional spelling.
Yeah, butter.
And get laid.
Right.
I love this.
Traditional spelling.
Doesn't happen.
No.
But-
it
But it
could.
sounds intriguing.
Hypothetically.
Right. Oh,
But
but
it
first I played
could.
kitchen chemist.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm putting out for these Skittles. Let's just say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't got to doctor this up with anything else. I was yours.
Absolutely.
You put out for
Absolutely.
raspberries, for Christ's sakes. I mean, come on.
A hand job for those.
Okay,
right.
well, fair. That's
You
fair.
get the whole way around the world with the Skittles.
It's a handy.
Oh, wait, they are the America mix.
France,
there.
Greece. We'll visit all the
All the
countries.
countries.
It's so dirty. Again,
you get around
this show
the world.
is so dirty.
No,
It's all
you
right,
are.
yeah. You're
are.
dirty.
You dirty
You're the
bird.
puppet. You're the
You're the puppet. No
You're
puppet.
the puppet.
No puppet.
No, you're the puppet.
No puppet.
Trademark, sell it. It's mine.
No puppet.
Fine, sir.
Well, this story I thought was interesting, and it makes me just a little nervous, only from the standpoint of I couldn't have been the ride-along driver in this story. The futurists of Silicon Valley may not have seen this one coming, but the first commercial delivery made by a self-driving tractor-trailer truck with 2,000 cases of Budweiser beer has been made. On Tuesday, Otto, the Uber-owned by the company Uber, self-driving vehicle operation, announced the completion of its first commercial delivery, having delivered its beer from Fort Collins, Colorado to Colorado Springs, a roughly 120-mile trip along Interstate 25. In recent years, Uber has predicted a future in which you can ride in a self-driving car that will take you anywhere you want to go with no driver necessary.
You were gonna say from one place to the other, weren't you? Like Ubers do something else.
No, because I was just reading along. But the idea that a commercial truck could be done by a robot is a relatively new idea and a potentially controversial one, and I can imagine why, because it's a big fucking truck. Given the possibility
Ooh.
that robots could one day replace
Let me
human
set
drivers.
down my Skittles for
Stop
that.
it. That's a big truck you got.
According to Lior Ron, co-founder of Otto, in an interview, he said that we think this technology is inching closer to commercial availability. In August, Uber acquired Otto, a San Francisco startup run by a number of veterans of Google's long-running autonomous vehicles research department. Though largely symbolic, the beer delivery marks the first commercial partnership for Otto, which was founded less than a year ago. Terms of the deal between Otto and Anheuser-Busch InBev, which owns the Budweiser brand, were not disclosed. They've done this with...
You notice it wasn't Coors that they were driving all over the
Well, no.
country.
So
they weren't
here's-
going to take that sacred
So
institution.
here's an air shot. There's the truck with obviously Otto's logo on it, Budweiser on it.
Proudly brewed, self-driven.
Yeah.
That just makes me think the driver is
Right,
underneath
right.
the seat.
No, well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you
I
where the
have
driver's.
beer.
So the driver, this is what would have made me nervous.
Love it.
The
Just
driver, a professional driver, was on board. He monitored everything that was happening by sitting in the sleeper cab of the truck, just to be there in case something went wrong.
I'm pretty sure that fucker passed me.
He went the whole. Were you in Colorado?
Maybe.
You went
We
to
don't
Texas.
know. You don't know. You don't know.
So judgy.
Well, you
Check
don't know
my
either.
Google Maps. That's
Yeah,
exactly
who
it.
knows?
We don't know. We'll check.
But I would have preferred to have been sitting in the seat. I don't. The time it takes to get from where he's sitting to that driver's
Sure.
seat.
Oh, he's dead.
It's too
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
If you see it just all going awry. But I think that's pretty damn cool. But that an entire tractor trailer, and I know Volvo and Mercedes-Benz has been working on this as well because I've watched different documentaries about it.
And somewhere in the East Valley here,
Okay.
Phoenix traditional spelling,
Valley.
Phoenix, they have self-driving Ubers.
Oh,
It's already a thing.
I did not know that here.
Makes me nervous.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
Mama likes to drink. I don't want to get in the back seat of a car with no driver and be like, sure, this works.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if you were taken home by a car like that and you never even realize it until the next day.
No, that
Did
would be
I
I
tip
would
my
be the
driver?
person that would be like, no, I was never in a driverless car.
No.
I had a full conversation. We chatted. We
Right.
sang.
And then you get the receipt that says, congratulations, you made it home in an autonomous vehicle. And you're like, huh?
Yeah, who's I talking to? Oh, myself.
Hey, wait a minute. Is Hillary or are Hillary or Barack getting blamed for the whole self-driven cars thing? Because like Joe just pointed out, right? The transportation jobs are
Oh
going
yeah.
away.
Hashtag future.
So since between the solar, I mean, they're just fucking up everybody. I mean, they're taking away coal.
You know, we could just go
They're
back to
taking
the
away
time when
drives.
gays and jobs, we just go back to a different time.
There's a joke
Retro candy. is
Gays
really
and
what it
jobs.
is.
Gays
Gays
and
and
jobs.
Blow
jobs.
the blow type,
Well,
the hand type.
Go back to the Flintstones
blow
where we
pop.
lived in harmony with the dinosaurs and the people.
And that's in every Texas textbook.
Yeah, sure it is.
It was a simple time. Wilma,
Yeah,
maybe.
courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
I
exactly.
like it. So there was. Are you done?
Of course.
My
Are
bad.
you done?
I didn't mean that to be rude. I would not.
I took it as that.
I did not want to.
I feel
interrupt.
very slighted by you now, Marnie.
Didn't want to interrupt.
I'm gonna check my Google Maps, figure out where I've been.
Well, speaking of drunk women,
I can hear you.
I'm not trying to pretend you're not here.
A lot of people do that.
A drunk woman. This
Thanks,
was
Val.
actually kind of a nice little thing, but a drunk
goodbye.
woman left her car in a bar parking lot overnight,
Good for her.
and then found a manager's note saying thank you.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of nice. So drinking and driving is a practice that everyone can agree is very bad, very bad. Drugs and alcohol are bad.
Just found a message.
Thank, in a bottle.
Oh, okay.
Well, because
I don't know.
So when one's judgment is impaired by alcohol, there's no telling what might happen. Well, a DUI. Countless people have been killed in accidents involving drunk drivers. It's time that more people were aware of the disastrous consequences. Ultimately, it's up to a driver to decide if he or she is capable of making good decisions on the road, which can be dangerous in and of itself. Many people will convince themselves they are more alert than they really are. But one woman knew she was too impaired to get home. So she left her car in the restaurant parking lot. Paula something Schultz returned several days later to retrieve her car, which she had parked. And by the way, Joey or Richard, if later on he's listening, or Chloe, Original Joe's in Alberta, Canada, is where she had left her car. And on the windshield, she found a note that she thought was a parking ticket at first. Now, that note was written by the manager, and it's going viral for the positive message that it sent. Dear Original Joe Sherwood Park guest, just wanted to thank you for leaving your car parked overnight. I'm not sure if you had consumed alcohol at a restaurant or not, but we wanted to thank you for not drinking and driving. Enclosed is a voucher good for 1 pound of our delicious chicken wings. Please accept this as a thank you for being responsible. Life is valuable. Have a great weekend. Now,
So if I leave my car there, I get free chicken wings?
I would have driven far less if somebody had said this fatty could get some free food.
Especially chicken wings.
I'm just fucking saying right there.
Because
right?
chicken wings are up there with pizza. Even shitty chicken wings are chicken
Totally.
wings.
Absolutely. Give me a pound of the free ones? Sure. I'll leave my car.
Oh, I have breaking news.
We need to go to Alberta, Canada is what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Done. We might
mean,
be
it's-
doing that in 2 weeks anyway. Joey, we're on our way.
If you thought there was nothing in Texas, wait till you see
Oh.
Alberta.
You have
There's a pound of chicken wings.
you said you have breaking news?
Breaking news.
Do you really?
Breaking news. Wingstop, a division of no. What's it called? What's the Pizza Hut wing place called? Wing Street
Wing Street.
has lemon pepper rub.
Oh, okay.
Please alert the media. If you've ever been to Wingstop and had those lemon pepper chicken fingers that are like lemony, peppery goodness,
My gosh.
and they're so fucking tasty, you want to like cover people and become a cannibal? Wing Street has followed suit.
Okay.
I ordered them. They were out. They're like, we are out of lemon pepper rub. I'm like, are you rubbing it on each other?
Man,
Because that's what I would do.
That was the least breaking news we've ever had of breaking news.
It was pretty exciting in my world. But
I
then I didn't
understand,
get
But
any
I'm just saying.
because
Then
they were sold out.
Oh.
At 4 in the p.m.
assholes.
of the AIDS Walk day. It's all I wanted as a post-AIDS
Poor
Walk
planning.
treat
Poor
was new lemon pepper rubbed Wing Street wings.
Do you know who did that? Obama.
Yeah, fucker. I knew it was him.
Is that the end of
Obama.
our, is that the end of our breaking news for that?
Yeah, that
I
was
think
it.
That was
the
it?
end of it was the before it started.
If you want to lure me into your home, you rub some lemon pepper on some chicken parts, and then you got me.
Well, there you have it. The end. I just wanted a little nice story
See?
that had.
Hey, Joey from Canada. I've got plenty of booze you'll need it for Alberta. Boring. There ain't nothing there. And Katie Lang left. That was the last thing interesting in Alberta.
Big bone gal from Southern Alberta.
By the way, I mean I'm not moving to Canada.
No.
No, not even a little bit. It's just joking, Josh, in a little bit, you know. Go on, sir.
Yeah.
I had to do a non-Trumpian story. See,
That's and hey,
I was
brought
just
it.
looking for a lovely story that.
So
was
that's
not
the
Trump.
good news is I'm only 5 weeks away from chicken wings. So
Very nice.
I know, can't wait. But we don't call them buffalo wings.
No.
because it's buffalo.
Duh.
They just wings.
That's the only time I pretend I'm actually from Buffalo and not Niagara Falls is when it comes to chicken wings. Because then I get territorial.
I think he's peeing on that. I think Amina's idea of Canada should build a wall, a big wall, like they should, and then just start charging like there's no tomorrow.
Just put sharpshooters, and there's already a fort there. You got Fort George right across from Fort Niagara.
Okay.
You can just pick those fuckers
There you
off
go.
as they start swimming across the
I think
whirlpool
it's
at you.
smart. I think it's smart.
I just thought I was going to send you a link and I forgot about it. Did I send you the link about the zip lining across Niagara Falls?
No, but you'll die.
Stop
Just
it.
let me tell you, anything that sounds like a fun thing to do around Niagara Falls is just
Don't.
certain death.
Well, they showed it. People made it from point A to point B.
They do, and they make it for a little while just so you feel comfortable, and then whatever it is, whether
and then
it's
what? It breaks.
a
or,
helicopter
like-
over a gorge, walk on the ice bridge that forms on the water. What could go wrong there until 20 people float
What could
downriver and
possibly
die?
go wrong?
Oh yeah, they have those flat bottom boats that go up, and they take you to
Flat
class
bottom girls.
3 or class 4 rapids, and that was the only time I strapped in with a traditional spelling, what they call life jacket on.
Yes.
That was the only time in my life I understood how someone could drown.
Oh,
Oh,
Was on that fucking thing going up those rapids.
okay.
scary. Yeah. Joey's rubbing. Joey's got the rub, and I mean that. You know,
And he's in the land of.
he's there. Fine, sir.
All right, well, we're going to try this. Well,
Joey, where's that boat? Write it down.
perhaps in an effort to seek out the company of those who share his approximate reading ability, Donald Trump paid a visit last month to a Nevada elementary school, dropping in for a few minutes on a group of extremely confused first graders. These students who, as far as we know, were not assembled in the classroom by school disciplinary officials as a particularly creative form of punishment, but they exhibited a range of reactions that you might expect from children, unwittingly subjected to the presence of a very notorious person whom they know very little about. One brave little soul makes some kind of an orange hair-related crack, while another repeatedly moans, I'm nervous, an exclamation that I assume would have come out differently had his class arrived at the vocabulary lesson, during which they learned the words repulsed, nauseous, and legitimately afraid for the future of our country. This trio of faces that appeared towards the end of the clip would really have come with a trigger warning, actually. They're all good kids that were in the classroom. However, I'm going to show you. This whole thing, this story is so cute. They were all good kids, but only one of them is actually the best kid. So if you look at the picture here, this is like one of the first shots of them walking in. So there's the orange thing with whoever he is, superintendent of school. So there's 3 kids in the shot there. So you've got the kid in the middle, the orange, with the little glasses with his little red shirt. Couldn't fucking care less about anything else that's going on.
Right.
So you go to the next picture. Still reading. Doesn't care.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Doesn't
Yeah.
care.
You're an asshole, is what he's thinking.
Third picture. Still reading. Couldn't care less.
It's a good book.
Yeah. So this studious young man seated directly in front of where Trump eventually parks his ass, no matter what sort of inanity is going on literally right behind him, this man never misses a beat or looks up from his studies. Reading a book is literally the opposite of listening to Donald Trump, and this kid gets it. That means America already is great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
The kid
That is
just
great.
never missed a beat.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, the kid's a lefty.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
Where?
which really just makes it even better.
Well,
I mean,
how do you get that from that picture?
go back.
Is there another?
He's a lefty. It's a good
In
kid.
this one?
Keep going. That kid's a lefty. I'm telling you, just the way that he has his hand, he's ready.
All right.
Yeah, he's a lefty. It's good. That's a good kid.
I'm not mad at that. Yeah, because
No.
I'm being a lefty like that. You know.
Yeah. I'm
Oh
just saying.
my gosh! Well, we
I
managed.
am.
What?
I'm sending you something.
Oh, you are? That'll be
I'm
exciting.
receiving it.
Wow.
Traditional spelling. I before E.
Stop it.
Except after C.
What?
How are you going to send it?
Well, I sent it to your email, and now I'm sending it.
It's easier to do it via Facebook.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. That's
Social
what it is.
library. Jesus Christ.
No.
Enter to send.
Space library.
Space library. Well, we're both wrong.
Okay.
Well, we're all losers.
So what is this?
Space library.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
Yeah, it made me laugh. I was cracking up.
How the hell do I make it go big? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I'm not sure about that.
How do I make it bigger?
While Clayton is looking,
Fingering
at how
it and
to
making
do
it
that,
bigger.
Wow, really? You're going with that?
You don't know. I just wanted everyone to know about the close race that's going on. Cracking me up, Amina, because I was just going to say something about Ken Bone, and I'm not even joking. And I just looked up. But Ken Bone and Jill Stein. There's a remarkably close race in Florida as to who's winning, and Ken Bone is ahead for the presidential election. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ken Bone is up.
I thought maybe his sweater was running alone.
No, he leads Jill Stein in Florida at this point. God bless him.
You know, the elderly believe in vaccination, so Jill Stein's kind of out.
she's real out.
She crazy.
Yeah, he leads Stein 4-1 in the public policy polling. Libertarian presidential
Public
nominee.
policy polling is kind of legit.
I know, right?
The PPP.
Libertarian presidential nominee Gary Johnson, meanwhile, takes 5% of the support among the state's likely voters. Friday results found Clinton leading the presidential field in Florida, with the Democratic presidential nominee grabbing 46%, Trump at 42%. The public policy polling surveyed 985 likely voters in Florida, and it has a 3.1% margin of error. But Ken Bone is leading 4-1 over Stein in that. So that it's not it's a legit.
And if I'm not mistaken, the penis of America really
Florida.
It is called Trumpland. You're correct.
Just can't get their shit together. You know, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, but I think Roseanne Barr got the most votes in 2012 in Florida.
Okay.
Like, of all the places that she got herself on the ballot, and she was on quite
totally
a few
forgot
states.
about that.
She actually got like a part
I
of
don't
a
remember
percentage point in Florida. Like she was measurable, because there really wasn't a good
She's
third.
measurable. That's for sure.
There really wasn't a viable third party candidate everywhere. But like Roseanne Barr got like 1% of the vote or something crazy. Like she really did make a difference. So I mean, they probably would vote for her.
Does that story tie into what you sent me or no?
No, I was just
'Cause I
while
was
you
trying to
were
figure-
you were getting that.
I didn't know how I was going to segue into this, because I've not heard this, and I
Well-
assume where I've cued it is to where the song starts.
It is, and it starts. It starts at the beginning of the debate.
Oh,
kind of.
Right.
Kind of
So
thing.
does
the
that
third debate?
Is that where I should start
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Oh, because I had cued it a couple seconds in. Okay.
Yeah, only because it kind of leads up to it, and it's. Do you mind? Should I explain what it is?
Well, explain this,
Yeah.
please, 'cause otherwise
It's-
our listeners might
they'll
just be
like, "What?" It's Weird Al Yankovic, a turn on the presidential debate, and taking it into a new anthem for the 2016 election, called "Bad Hombres and Nasty Women,"
Oh God.
and he did this.
Good evening.
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, and thank you, everybody.
This is it, your last chance to make an impression, so let's make it count.
Okay.
We know we've got lots of work to do.
Let's do this in B flat minor.
We have so many adversaries overseas. Can we all agree to be frenemies?
I would work with our allies in the Middle East. That's the only way we're going to keep the peace.
Okay.
Most hope, so sad, so sad. It's a catastrophe. So bad, so bad.
Can everyone achieve the American dream? Or should they sign up for my Ponzi scheme?
We are going to go where the money is.
All right.
We are going to help small businesses.
Our jobs are being sucked out of our economy. Right now, our country is dying. Big three.
We've got to do more.
Okay.
We need to get
I'm putting it in the chat.
That's
right now.
fantastic.
It's a very cute how they auto-tuned it. But you know what that reminds me of is, remember a long time ago we played the one where they auto-tuned God, why can't I think of her name? I can see her. Julia Child. The video with Julia Child.
Yes.
That's what that reminds me of.
That's funny. Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if I have that. Julia.
And I'm putting that in the chat room for
Got the link. It's the Weird Al Yankovic video. Oh.
But it just made me laugh come on. It's fun.
There's that.
Just to have fun.
Somebody enjoy that.
Yeah, somebody
I
has
have to
to
wait. I
have
have to.
fun. God damn. Unbelievable.
Mazel. It's a catastrophe.
So, the end.
There we go. I think we're going to toss it to Mr. Perkins.
Entertainment! Someone just woke up in New Mexico.
Yeah. Hopefully while driving. There's not a lot going on here. We're going to talk about the stuff that was on TV last week. The Walking Dead is back with probably the most upsetting episode of that show's entire run, and quite possibly the most upsetting episode of television I've ever watched.
It was all over the space library.
We have a death to talk about, and a movie suggestion from Netflix that's out. So we'll start with that while I think of it, because I don't have anything written down for that. But Mascots, from Christopher Guest, who gave us Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, and whatever, A Mighty Wind.
Okay.
And Netflix, he has a new original movie out with the usual cast of characters and then some additional people. Catherine O'Hara is not in it, much to its detriment, I think.
Yeah, she's fantastic in everything.
So I don't. But Parker Posey is fantastic.
Thank you, Aaron. He got the link, the Julia Child link.
Oh, fun.
Got it.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks,
and
Aaron.
I will get this guy's name. He's from Silicon Valley. Let me find out his name. And he was on the last couple seasons of The Office. Let me find out his name. And he has the most beautiful skin in the entire world. His name is Zach. Let me see if it's Zach Woods. His name is Zach Woods, and he is in Mascots.
Sure.
Yeah, he's in Mascots. And it's just a traditional. It's a mockumentary about mascots around the world that are getting ready for the international mascot competition, and they're called the Fuzzies. And you win gold, silver, and bronze in the Fuzzies. And Jane Lynch is back, and Ed Begley Jr. And it really is. And there's I can't think of the British guy's name or Irish guy's name that had his own show for a minute on HBO, and it's just really, really, really funny. And it was one of those things where, because I had to get up so early this morning, I took my sleeping pill, got myself ready for bed, and then popped that in, and was just giggling my way in and out of sleep. I made it to the end of the movie, but I know I slept through big chunks.
Sure.
But every time I would wake up, it would just be to like a big belly laugh. It was just so much fun. And no, the AbFab movie came out while I was on vacation, and I didn't see one movie the whole time I was on vacation. So I have not seen the AbFab movie. So hopefully that's coming out on video
I haven't seen
soon.
that
I was sad to miss that, but
the gentleman you're referring to, say his name again, please.
Zach Woods.
He is in a show in the USA Network that hasn't come back for a second or third season. I don't remember which it is, but it's called Playing House. I don't know if you ever saw anything on it. I thought it was just cute, and it's about just these two best friends who one gets pregnant and the other one is very successful and she has to come back. And anyway, he is in that and plays a part. And I had not seen him in anything but snippets of The Office, and he's just enjoyable. He's really a great character actor.
It just has this goofy way of doing stuff. But this Mascots movie, very funny. And I had I had just I forgot that it was on. I think it came out like last week, and a friend had sent me a thing, and so finally I was like, oh my god, that Christopher Guest movie is waiting in the hopper. So tonight I'm gonna go home and watch that all the way through. But what I saw was very, very funny. And we'll go to the death now because it's next on my page. So Peter Burns, born August 5th, 1959. Oh, he's only 6 days younger than my sister. Died. He was the lead singer and just tragic plastic surgery addict.
Yeah.
Who I lost track of, and now looking at pictures, I'm kind of glad I didn't know all this.
He was on a Where Are You Now thing, and that's how I found out about all the
surgery.
plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa.
He had a bunch of little bands in the late 70s, early 80s, and then eventually everything came together and they became Dead or Alive. And they teamed up with a very new songwriting.
Well, dead now.
Yeah, dead. More dead than alive.
The question has been answered.
Question, yes. You can take down the question mark. We have our answer.
Yes.
But they teamed up with what became one of the biggest production teams of the 80s, Stock Aitken Waterman, who gave us Never Gonna Give You Up guy. What's his name?
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley. They gave us like the Bananarama. Once they went for pop and they left their little ska roots, gave us Donna Summer this time. Our opening music is actually Stock Aitken Waterman. That's what we're listening to, is that production company. But they are the ones that came up with the sound that became Dead or Alive, and why I always said in the 80s, if you like one Dead or Alive song, you pretty much like all of them, because they sound exactly alike. This one was my absolute favorite.
Are you sure about that?
I am. But the one that I always think of is Something in My House was the one that
one.
in the clubs I dance myself into a new shoe size with that song. And
it's just it's good music. I just love it. Yeah.
It really is a lot of fun songs.
I always
You Spin Me Right Round, Baby, right round. For my favorite episode of Will and Grace, the dinner party. You spun me right round, Will, right round like a record. And My Heart Goes Bang and Lover Come Back to Me, and they did a remake of That's the Way, I Like It.
There are some I would have to hear. You guys are saying
Lover Come Back to Me, kick it right now, kick it right down, kick it right down. And they're all remixed fabulously.
I like their rendition a lot.
Yeah, see? It's different.
It is different. But that I sometimes with songs, the song titles, I'm not as good with, but
yeah. And
Stephen Fry is gone.
Bang, 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 bang from the show they're talking about.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, no.
I was like, God, don't tell me he died. I loved him.
I know, that's what I thought. I'm like, what?
So massive heart attack, and he went through. I mean, he was always the androgynous eye patch, lots of eyeliner, funness. And the band was just a lot of fun, and the video for all of them, they were just a fun video act. They were in that again, they all sound
real similar, but I
remember loving him like it was 13, 14 years old, and I just loved it all.
Yeah, and I think about what might have been if I'd never met that vicious queen, Doug Wilkie. That's what we always used to say.
First of all, not whispering and on camera. At the end. That's all.
He'll be here in 2 weeks.
I don't understand how any of this works. Yep.
Myself and you're somewhere else with someone else. Oh,
so much fun. There is something in my house. Oh my God.
Just a ghost of a long lost dead affair.
Yeah. And you're in
such great lyrics.
But you're not there.
You're not there.
There's the ghost of a long lost Jennifer, but it's not you.
So they're asking in the chat room about QI, and I had to look it up because I had zero idea, and that's why the Stephen Fry thing obviously came up.
QI.
I don't know what QI is.
Queer intentions.
Quite interesting.
Oh, there's that.
Apparently, TV series. I had not ever heard of that.
I have not either.
From 2000, it started in 2003. It's an interesting, quite interesting quiz show. In that correct answers are not necessarily the goal, but responding to the presenter, mostly obscure questions in a funny and interesting way, regardless of whether the response includes a right answer, is what scores points. So it sounds very fun, actually.
And if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Fry is coming to a sitcom that's coming out soon.
He was in Bones for a very long time. It's on Hulu, apparently. QI. They have them all over YouTube.
That's the only thing I don't have is Hulu.
Wow.
Eventually, I had to stop paying for TV.
Yeah, we'll have to. But yeah, so that I just saw that up there, and I thought, well, wait, I've never heard of that. So
let's
interesting.
Oh, self QI, yeah. But I feel like there's a new series about to come up.
Oh, I was going to ask you about something that is coming up.
I did, Anant.
That just reminds me.
Okay, I thought I saw his name attached to a series, but it's not coming up in IMDb. Yes.
Did you hear that Carol Burnett has been cast in an upcoming, I believe, ABC sitcom?
That's who it was.
And I'm like,
Carol Burnett, Stephen Fry. I mean, yeah. Every now and again, like I'm like, have you ever seen them in the same room together?
But no,
nope.
have you actually,
like Carney Wilson and Meatloaf.
Totally.
Had you actually heard of it though?
No, I just saw the ad for it recently, or saw an interview with her about it.
She was on. Was it Will and Grace? What did she? She had a.
She was on Glee.
Glee. Mm-hmm.
But there was another, even a few years before Glee. It seemed like she had a recurring role. Maybe it was Glee that I'm thinking of, but I thought she had done something else.
Well, she was in Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah.
She was at All My Children, which always.
But
made me laugh.
I guess what I'm getting at with this is, I
Mad About You.
I think it was Mad About You. That's even further back than Glee.
Sure.
But anywho, my thought was, loved her, Carol Burnett show. She's fantastic. She always did everything. But I'm like, I remember your comedic time. The timing isn't exactly the same. And I'm thinking, really, isn't this a little bit of a stretch? I mean, come on, Carol. You're schlepping your DVDs. We get it. I feel like she's trying to hang on, or somebody is trying to get her to hang on to something that really isn't there anymore.
Oh, I think she, and I liked her on Mad About You. I thought she was
15 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, she's still funny. Glee was a strange fit because they went back to her musical theater roots. Like, they made her sing. She sang a song every time she was on, because she comes from musical theater.
Right.
She's a,
but when I heard that on whatever I heard it on, I was like, wow, I think we're stretching a little bit here with Ms. Burnett's.
Oh no, she can do anything, and that MeTV is on constantly where I work. So I watch old Carol Burnett episodes, and they're just funny. And sometimes they get really, they were really political for their day. Like, she did a whole thing about the modern housewife and like everything causing cancer or the air being bad. And it was all about all the toxins in the air and her trying to like be a housewife. And I'm like, this is like 1973. And they're like right on today's problems of like trying to balance it all. And
well, we'll see when the series comes out, but I still think it's going to be a little painful.
Oh, I don't. I think she's funny. I don't remember her on Hot in Cleveland, but I kind of gave up on that show.
Oh, until the end. I liked Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But then again, you're another one who didn't like Seinfeld. I always thought Seinfeld was funny.
I did not like Seinfeld.
Yeah. No, I thought I just at a certain point I just feel like they were just standing delivering their like I just felt like they were taking a paycheck.
Mm.
And quite frankly, the only one that stayed consistently funny to me on Hot in Cleveland was Betty White.
Oh, and to me it was Valerie Bertinelli.
She was good.
It was Bertinelli or Wendy Malick to me.
Yeah.
Because I just love the delivery that Wendy Malick plays an idiot
funny.
so well.
Plus, I felt like they did like 117 episodes in 10 minutes. Like I was like, I can't keep up with this shit.
Well, they did. The last season they did. And if you'll notice in the last season, most all shots with White, she was sitting down.
Oh, sure.
And I get why. I mean, Betty. Okay, she can't do a sitcom anymore at 93, 4 years old. She doesn't have the stamina. Sorry.
Yeah, and
that's a grueling production schedule.
Right.
And then that's a lot of that times they just cut away to like they did with Estelle Getty at the end of Golden Girls, where it was just cutaways to the joke and then come back.
Right.
Sure.
And the strangest she was missing. So and then now The Walking Dead came back and they had to catch up with the comic books because they introduced Negan, the big bad. And of all the big bads and all the TV shows, this is the one that have been promised for a long time, that this was going to be the most evil bad guy in all of TVdom or whatever he's supposed to be. And so they left the show on a really, and they pretty much jumped the shark last year, where they had a character left for dead that miraculously lived through some Deus Machina, or whoever that expression is, God in the machine, that, you know, he lived to see another day, and it just weirdness. And then they left you on this cliffhanger of a murder of a person about to be assassinated, and then they left an unexplainable cliffhanger that kind of was like, I'm kind of losing interest in this show. Like, now you guys are just stretching out. Like, all of last season took place over 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And they just, like, they spread everybody out, so you spend, like, I feel like they're just saving money. We don't have to pay Carol if we do the episode from Charlie's point of view and leave Carol, and we'll find out what happened to Carol in those 30 minutes 4 episodes down the line. It was like, okay, we get it. You can stop stretching. We're watching.
Right.
So, and I go to the Spoiling Dead Fans, which is a Facebook page where they give spoilers.
Okay.
Because I'm just sick of waiting, because now I'm like, the show's pissing me off. So I went to the Spoiling Dead page, and they do smart things, like they watch and see who's filming and who's missing. Like, if they haven't seen this character in a while, and they're like, well, it's probably dead, and they do, because they film in a remote part of Georgia, if they have a big dinner, it's usually a goodbye dinner, and then if they had a big dinner and then somebody's not around the next couple times, they shoot. So they kind of do, like, spy work. It's kind of a fun site to go to.
Okay.
And they tell you, like, if you don't like spoilers,
don't
come to this page.
Yeah.
Like, we are spoilers. We are here to give you a little, like, just to piss with them. You know what I mean? Just to piss on them, because they're pissing us off with us.
Or quite frankly, you can just go to Facebook. I mean, like, how many people had things on there that were
but I mean, they've been doing this for months.
Beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're way ahead of schedule. And that's like last year when you thought Glenn was dead, they were like, no, he's filming in Georgia, and it doesn't look like a flashback because he's changed his clothes. It's not the ghost of Glenn. It's still Glenn.
Okay.
So I knew who was dead. I really didn't want to watch because I really was like, they pissed me off with how they did that. And then I watched the episode, and I thought, I'm gonna need therapy. It was grisly, gruesome. It was as...
And think about who's saying this.
Yeah, I mean, it was as intense an hour of television as you could ever expect. And even though I knew who was gonna die, and you know because of the comic books and the character and the weapon that he chooses, how they're gonna die, how they pulled that off, and the emotional punch they were able to deliver on a show about zombies, and how often you're like, God damn it, I'm sucked in again. I actually care about these characters. Yeah. And they handled, like, the grieving and the breaking down of your hero, and just not just breaking him down, like beating him up, but they just broke down the main character emotionally till he was submissive to his new leader. Mm-hmm. And it really did hurt you. It was like, this is the guy that's supposed to be taking care of us on this show, and he just got he just got emotionally torn down. And to see that kind of thing, usually they do that to women. You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit you never see done to a man on a TV show, where they just
grab him by the pussy.
Yeah, they grab him by the pussy, and they literally did. So it turned out to be a really good episode of TV, and it was again, it's the highest rated show on TV in the specific demographic. But now
people seemed destroyed on Facebook last night.
I was talking to as in
Space Library,
like the educator, the educator that I work with on these classes that I do. I just asked her, and I never remember if she watches, but I know she watched Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm like, did you watch The Walking Dead? She's like, my husband and I were like distraught afterwards. Yeah. She's like, we were almost holding each other, and
sure.
And I'm like, that was one of the most intense hours of television. And I watched the marathons. Like last week, I had some time. I had the time off that I know, like, I'm not going to have time to, like, just enjoy being home and drinking coffee and listening to music. And I watched, like, 4 episodes of a marathon. This is not an episode I ever need to see again. Okay. When it comes to that hour, I'll be like, I'm going to go dust. I'll check back in an hour.
Sure.
I know how it ends. Don't need to watch this on a loop.
Yeah, that people, there were a number of people that I was very surprised by, who seemingly can handle anything, like whatever, that were,
and it was
like done.
Yeah, because of the emotion. It's not just because it's a show about zombies. It's the, and I say it all the time. It's the emotion.
Grizzly, like it was, they're like, leave something to the imagination. I saw, which means next to nothing to me. But
one death they left to the imagination, and the other one, they just literally let it all hang out there, and then they give you this wallop of "I'll find you," and I was like, "Oh Jesus!" So, and then last week, Rocky Horror Picture Show was on TV, and really mixed everything about that, because it's a terrible movie. And the reason it's become a cult classic is because it's such a terrible movie with some really fun songs in it, and you can scream back and you can sing along to the music, like that. And they redid it, beautifully. I thought Laverne Cox was fantastic as Frankenfurter. I think it was even more subversively dirty, knowing that this was a trans woman.
Okay.
Right. Playing and they toyed with whether or not to change the word trans
Vestite.
Sweet transvestite, whether they should say transvestite, but that everybody in the movie Frankenfurter fools around with everybody. Like Eddie is built to be his like sex toy. Rocky is built to be the sex toy. Fools around with Janet. Fools around with Brad. Mm-hmm. Actually, has sex with Brad. Mm-hmm. So then you're kind of like, well, like what kind of sex? And fully had sex, and then everyone was beautiful. Reeve Carney Reeve, whatever his name is, gorgeous as Riff Raff. The guy that played Brad was beautiful. Okay. And then you have the problem of he's got to walk around in tighty whities, which they made a little bit less tighty whitey.
Sure.
And but everybody was just gorgeous. Okay. And he, as they do the I can't think of what the song is at the end. I was just 7, I was old. Whatever that song is called. Rose Tint My World. Okay. And they're all in drag, and they don't feel it, be it, where they're all touching each other and kind of pseudo having sex in the pool. I'm like, this is dirty for primetime Fox, even for Fox, the nation where the parents left town for a while. It was dirty. Yeah. And it was fun. It's still a stupid plot. Sure. It's dumb. Adam Lambert was fun as Eddie.
How many times have you ever seen it live?
On stage?
Yeah.
Or live at the movies?
Like live at the movies.
Oh, quite a few times.
Okay. I've not ever done that.
And I like,
I don't know if that's something at 46 that would be fun, or if you don't do that when you're younger, don't do it.
And I like on a cruise ship I was on, that was one of the night's entertainment, and people came in costumes and did all the things they were supposed to, and that was really
you bring
fun.
Toast and you're supposed to do all that, right?
And a couple times they cut to the audience to see where you should yell back. Sure. And they threw the toast.
Right. Anyone in the chat room ever gone to the I want to call it live, but it's just.
But it's also a musical that was on Broadway.
No, absolutely. So, and they do that I could see you doing.
Yeah, and they do that in there too, where you don't destroy the theater, but they do a lot of the same stuff, and they scream back at the characters, and some of it is also different as to where you see it, But they pull off the Brad, Rocky, Jen, you know what I mean? Dr. Rocky. So, and if you ever just try to watch that as a movie without someone doing all the things that you're supposed to make it fun, it's terrible. Right. It's almost an unwatchably bad movie.
Right.
With some cute songs in there. And the Touch Me is dirty because she kind of masturbates.
I want to be crazy.
And so, Magenta and Columbia, and I can't think of who the girl. Columbia was Annalee Ashley, and she was from Kinky Boots, Tony Award nominee for Kinky Boots, and she was really good. And I can't think of what the girl's Christiana Milan, I think is her name. She was Magenta. Okay. It was just kind of fun. It was stupid fun. They remade a stupid movie and made another stupid movie with a twist of having Laverne Cox, who was very sexy and sang. Really fun to hear her sing in the manly voice, sang it as a man.
Okay.
And but it was everybody was cute, and you wanted to see them in their underwear, and you kind of liked that they were all touching each other.
Traditional voice.
Traditional voice, yeah.
or original.
Because I wondered, where would you put the singing part? Because it's written for a man,
right.
So now it's a she.
Oh, right.
So where do you put that singing voice and sang it as in a deep voice? Mm-hmm. To where it should go in the thing, because Riff Raff really has the higher voice. Mm-hmm. But when they got to Rose Tint My World, which is a song that I can just put on repeat anytime you need me to. Okay. I love that song. Okay. And I love Over at the Frankenstein Place. And because I was always lying to my parents about where I was going on Friday and Saturday nights, right. I was 15 and 16 years old going to a gay bar. But so you could get out of the house that late, I would tell them I was going to see Rocky Horror.
Sure.
So I would pretend to go
to
Rocky Horror and that way you could wear a little bit
And
of
it would be
makeup
totally
because it was
appropriate.
appropriate to
Yep,
have
yep.
eyeliner on. So what I did was I got the soundtrack to the movie and memorized all the songs in case my mom ever sat me down for a test and realized
You have
how
to
much
be
I like
able
the
to pass the
soundtrack.
test, yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
listened to the soundtrack way more than I've ever seen the movie. But then I've seen it in weird places. I had a boyfriend in the late 80s whose mom was a fan.
Okay.
And so we would go and like she knew more than I did of what to yell back. And sometimes I just like to go with people that know what they're doing.
Sure.
Just because if they can get everything's fine, but if you can get the Janet, Brad, Dr. Scott, Rocky, like if you can get that little where you know who to yell,
Well
whose
done.
name to yell out and grunt at Rocky, that just cracks me up.
Right.
Waiter, there's a drag queen in my soup. Waiter, now there's 5 drag queens in my soup. I mean, there's so many funny things that people scream back at that. And then on Friday was the Hamilton documentary, which is still available on pbs.org and on your on-demand. And it was a really well-done documentary about the making of Hamilton. And then it had interviews with, Jesus Christ, that senator from Massachusetts whose name escapes me all the time. What is her name?
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren.
I, honest to Jesus, thought you were just fucking around.
No, George Bush,
Oh my
Obama.
God, that's fantastic.
They interviewed all kinds of like contemporary politicians to talk about like all that we owe to to Hamilton's story. They did a lot of portions of the songs. They did how it came to be. They talked to Michelle Obama because it was supposed to be a poetry. The start of it was a poetry jam that they invited Lin-Manuel Miranda to the poetry jam at the White House, and he was supposed to do something from In the Heights, and he told them when he got there, he's like, I just read this book about Hamilton, and I have a little rap that I'd like to do about him, and they're like, we don't give a shit, you're here. We were hoping for something from In the Heights, and that's where he introduced it, was to them, and then they brought kids together from local schools, and they did a whole performance. I think they did like 90 minutes of the show with the full cast in front of high school kids and the president, just so they could see Hamilton done. And they sit down when it's not their turn, they stand up, they do their parts. If it's the chorus, they're all sitting in chairs, and they do this in the tiny little, I think it's the East Room or whatever that little performance space is. So they had a lot of songs from there, and it was just nicely done. They visit Hamilton's grave, they go to Eliza's grave, they go to Aaron Burr's grave, they talk about the politics, and Elizabeth Warren has a lot about what she's fighting with.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's not Elizabeth Warren? Oh, my God damn it, I think that's her name.
It is, you are correct.
So it was just funny to hear her, who's so against Wall Street and stuff like that, be talking about the man that pretty much started Wall Street and got, what it, and I can't remember which bank, the Bank of BNY is, Bank of New York is his bank. Columbia University is his. The Coast Guard is because of Hamilton. All the things that are from Hamilton.
Yep.
And George Bush talking about him. So it's a really fun documentary. Very interesting with some music. And I think that's the whole shebang. Shebang.
Anant, I don't know if you're listening, Mr. Anant. So I have not watched the entire movie yet. But Anant had asked us to watch Margarita with a Straw. I don't know if you remember him bringing that up.
I will write that down right now.
Margarita with a Straw. And it's...
Margarita, traditional spelling.
Traditional spelling. Straw, traditional spelling. And it's something he had said that he thought that I would, because of the field that I'm in, the gal has cerebral palsy.
Okay.
That's in this. They have normal, and I appreciate in quotes. But I am going to jack up her name. I think it's Kalki Coughlin, and again, I'm probably messing that up. It's Kalki. Last name is Koechlin. I think it's Coughlin. Amazing. Amazing. Just and again, I haven't gotten completely through it, but I'm so in love with the relationship that she has with her mom.
Oh, cool.
And it really is just something that not a typical movie I'm going to sit down and watch. And I think that if you have the time to sit down and do that, that try to take it, because it's
and it's on my Netflix.
It seems like it just a really
Well, then it's on my Netflix, because I have Netflix too.
Yeah. So I just added it to my Netflix list.
Yeah.
That makes it easier.
Really, just
it's important if I say I'm going to watch something that you make me put it in my
sure.
Netflix
Well,
list.
and I didn't know if you had, because God knows he has brought this up a couple times, and I thought I have to write this down. I have to write it down. And it really is. It's just so heartfelt. And this actress, this Kalki, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, just really something.
Oh, very good.
Really something. And how someone with this, this challenge that is just wanting to be whatever normal is.
Right. As we all search.
As we all search,
what normal might be.
Nobody is normal, and
but
with love and with trying to get out, it just really, it's brilliant. And so, Annette, thank you for sharing that with us, because I'm excited to finish that. Actually, tonight when I go home, I'm going to finish watching that. So, thank you.
Oh, and then the other thing I want to recommend, it's on Netflix as well, that everyone is talking about, and I was going to watch it last night, but I knew I was going to fall asleep, so I wanted to watch something funny. Is 13th, about the
I have that down. Yeah,
analyze the criminalization of African Americans in the U.S. prison boom, and it's Anna DuVernay who directed Selma. Is the director of this documentary, and a lot of people many people are talking about it, and it's been on my list for a couple of weeks now, but this is the week from hell, so I'm seriously going to get to all of this post-election, and probably while I'm awake when everyone else is asleep in Niagara Falls.
There you go.
Let's be clear.
Sure. I get it. That's fantastic, though. Good. And when are you?
December 1st. I've been panicking all week, thinking that I was leaving
Yeah,
November
that's why I'm
1st.
like, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm like, that's
And
not soon.
I've had it in my head that it was November 1st. I'm like, settle down. You're not leaving next Tuesday. You have
Right.
another month
Right.
to fit into formal wear.
Right. Absolutely.
Dance
Formal
your way
wear.
into formal wear.
That's
And I'll
right.
see you later.
That's right. Bye. See you later. Thanks.
Bye, Val.
Thanks for entertainment. Traditional spelling. That's fantastic. Well, and with all the different things that we talk about in here, and that we tend to mock, and that we tend to, we lost this country or that country or those people.
Right.
Those people, whomever those people might be that we offend.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's written in here is, and it's a learning curve that we've talked about with our chat room, that sometimes there are so many things that I've learned from these folks, speaking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
that are teaching us about things around the world.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because I'm so goddamn focused, like here, like, oh, did that happen somewhere else? Oh, and that attitudes, if I understood like so much of what was in there, that attitudes in India concerning folks with disabilities is kind of shameful-ish, and I might be wrong in that, but that it's kind of tucked over here even more than it is here,
Right.
in America, because that happens a lot.
And
anyway.
that so many different places that are just not getting to the right places.
Right, and so it really it's so it's kind of neat. So again, just thank you for that, Monsieur Renan.
I have written that down on my thing to look up.
Yeah, and it was interesting to get into it. It's a little slow, kind of, but then it was really great. So anyway, digress. By the way, did that irritate anybody else with Hillary?
Which part?
When she was in the and I'm going to say it wrong, Alfred Smith.
Al Smith dinner.
Al Smith dinner, and she said, you know how people have talked about divisive or divisive.
Oh, right.
And people saying that. Well, I always say digress, and but I digress. I like the way she said. But I digress. It bothered me. I don't know why. No, I'm not going to vote for her.
That's fair.
Just kidding. But it did.
Good night, folks. We're done.
Good night. Gotta go.
So, in case you don't know, the Alfred E. Smith Memorial
Wow.
Memorial Foundation Dinner, commonly known as the Al Smith Dinner, is it's a white tie fundraiser. And for those who are not aware of levels of social status.
That just means
There-
you're fucking.
Black tie is not as formal as white tie. White tie that means tits out formal. Like, there is no getting around it, and men must be dressed in white tie. White tie is what they wore on the Titanic. Like, this is the upper crust.
I'd actually never heard that phrase.
Oh, white tie? Oh,
Never.
yeah. Star Jones did a white tie wedding.
Yes.
That really was like, what
Well,
the
I think
fuck?
Star Jones' husband did the white tie because he's like, look how good I look, girl. You know, because
Girl.
Or did she
he was
did she Liza her way through
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, she swore he wasn't, but then he,
Oh.
girl.
Yeah, hey
So-
girl, he was Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. Like he was
With a little bit of
What?
Easter
That's
rainbow.
right.
Chemtrails everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
he was fire anting
Yeah.
his way through that. Traditional spelling.
Of course.
So it's an annual white tie dinner fundraiser in the U.S. for Catholic charities supporting the neediest children of the Archdiocese of New York, regardless of race, creed, or color. Held at New York City's Waldorf Astoria, the Grand Dame of New York hotels, who, as my friend Gina says, is in desperate need of a facelift. On the third Thursday of October, it is organized by the Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation in honor of Al Smith, who grew up in poverty and later became a four-term New York governor and the first Roman Catholic U.S. presidential candidate in 1928. The dinner is hosted by the Archbishop of New York and I think it's his grandson or his great-grandson. The first dinner was in 1945, the year after his death. It is generally the last event at which the two presidential candidates share a stage before the election. Apart from presidential candidates, keynote speakers have included Tony Blair, Tom Brokaw, Bob Hope, Henry Kissinger, Claire Booth Luce, and many other prominent
I don't know who
figures. Claire Booth Luce wrote The Women, famous playwright.
Okay.
So since 1960, when John F. Kennedy, he would become the first Roman Catholic president, and Richard Nixon were speakers, it has been a stop for the two main presidential candidates during several U.S. election years. In 76, both spoke. In 80, both spoke. 88, George H.W. and Dukakis. In 2000, Al Gore and George W. 2008, it was Barack Obama and John McCain, who were both very gracious, and it was a very nice event for both of them. And they knew each other. And then in 2012, what made 2012 special was that Barack Obama and Mitt Romney were the first two presidential candidates in a long time. Like, we'd have to go back a really long way to find two presidential candidates who did not know each other in any way socially. They had actually never
crossed paths.
Sure.
Somebody served together in some form of government or was the governor while the other one was president, kind of thing. Like, would have been at the governor's dinner, so they would have at least met. And it was the only time Mitt Romney and Obama had ever met socially or had ever even spoken outside of that. Where, like, in this case, Clinton went to what's his face's wedding.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton went to Trump's wedding
Now,
and the daughter's wedding and all
I'm
that
gonna
stuff.
guess though, at the time when Obama and Romney met, I'm sure somebody at some point had to explain to Romney, he's not
black.
the help, and this is a black man. just a guess.
Well, he was governor
Don't
of
ask him to
Massachusetts, so
take
he
your
had met people of color.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
but don't ask him to take your plate.
But they weren't staff.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now one of the things that made this interesting is that it is the Democratic Party and the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church and Catholics traditionally vote Democratic, but they came to a disagreement over abortion, and Jimmy Carter was famously booed in 1980. Walter Mondale did not show up in 84. So there's been a little bit of friction, but it's mostly a nice time, and it is the glitterati. And let me look up this word to make sure I'm using it correctly.
Well, it's going to be traditional spelling.
Right, of course.
Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Also, just while you're looking that up, the reason that I can't go to any kind of white tie, white formal event kind of shit, I would just spill all over myself. I'd be a mess by the end of that.
Because you want to make a house look bigger, paint it white. That's why I'm not going.
You've always said that. Remember Barbara had the white shirts that You're like, it's like a barn.
Yeah, like,
you know what's happening.
You just can't put white all over this.
But I'd spill. It doesn't
People
matter.
would start painting because they'd be like a tarp. It's just gonna go wrong.
I'm so gonna.
Wow.
So
he's calling himself fat.
Someone's
ladies and
out
gentlemen.
there like this.
He's not dissing Marnie.
Oh, I think I can get the whole Sistine Chapel on here.
Oh,
Fuck
look
the
at
ceiling.
Look at.
I
watch.
get the floor.
He'll bring
the-
his hands together.
Yeah.
It'll be like
hands
it's
across
gotten
Al.
Adam.
Oh god.
Hands across Al.
So they do this thing, and one of the things that I think your husband Rachel Maddow brought up was that Al Smith was the Bernie Sanders of his day. He was a very populist candidate. He was the working man's candidate, very underdogish. And so she was saying that how nice it would be for Al Smith to know that this money, that these people were coming together and raising money for this charity for impoverished children, but wouldn't he be horrified that it was a bunch of plutocrats that were sitting there raising the money? Like
Sure.
the people he most despised
Right,
are
were
on
the
the
ones-
dais.
right.
So, and the plutocracy is a form of oligarchy and defines a society ruled or controlled by the small minority of the wealthiest citizens, which is what that panel pretty much displayed.
I did enjoy going back to what Hillary was saying. I liked it when she, from the podium, is like, well, and she went around. Good to see all these people here. Yada yada yada. Talk about the honorable Giuliani's here, and then she would do that. Now, then the next thing she goes, well, it's also good to see Mayor Bloomberg here. At least one real billionaire is here.
We can hear
from a
from
billionaire.
one billionaire.
Yeah.
Well, and the best part was Giuliani's lack of anything. First of all, when she said that, which was one of my favorites, when she said about the Statue of Liberty and that when we see this, we think, freedom and blah
beacon
blah
of-
blah.
Donald
and
sees a
then Donald
four.
sees a 4, and all of a sudden you saw
Lose the
Giuliani,
torch and the
who,
tablet.
number one, looked like he was all like kind of hunched over
Yeah.
in some weird way, and then he's like, huh, and his glasses were all askew. And he's like, I don't get it. And I thought,
and
you're a moron.
And Samantha Bee was talking about last night.
Oh, I
Samantha
didn't
Bee
see
was
it. I
she's
didn't see it.
talking about the lady that's behind the
She's
speaker
the financial girl from
yes.
CNBC.
with the boobs.
Yes.
And she was just talking about
she was.
because
Okay,
the
I
whole
wonder
thing
who
is
that
really
was.
about just that lady's boobs.
Right off the side here.
You mean,
Half of
and by
Amer-
the way, this one completely coming out.
Yeah, half of America was watching that just to spend a minute in the bathroom with their laptop.
Yeah.
And
I was
because
just waiting
even
for-
I was like,
I was waiting for that boob.
I was
The
like,
right
those
boob
are some tits.
to
But you
pop
could see
out.
her when Trump
No
starts to go
twist.
bad. She puts on her glasses and starts like reading her Twitter feed, like, "Oh, this is blowing up."
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's happening here.
But the minute he starts getting booed, if you watch, she just puts on her glasses and starts looking down
She
at
did.
something.
Yeah.
And according to Gail
Gail King.
Yeah.
King, because Henry Kissinger was like sitting with her. Henry Kissinger was like, "This is really bad." And was it John Oliver that said, "This is the man that bombed Cambodia"?
And he's saying this
when
is
the
bad.
man that bombed
Right.
Cambodia is telling you this isn't going
This
well.
is not going well. That's funny.
But it really was, and it's one of those dinners that gets very little press. It's the nerd prom.
I'd never heard of
Yeah.
it until this year.
I remember
It
them
gets
showing snippets.
It gets a little bit of press here and there because it's usually because we're in this limbo land of there's nothing left to do in the election,
But
and it's
write it
usually a
out.
good. It's usually a goodwill dinner, and it has been for a few years.
and there's usually not a debate the night before.
yeah, that I mean,
And
there's a little bit of a
usually
distance.
not one that's as
And
kind
one
of
year there was
contentious.
one year there
Yeah,
was one more
contentious.
debate.
Perfect,
There was
yeah.
one more debate left. One year there was a late debate, and I feel like there was a debate after.
Oh.
Okay.
There was still another one. But and it's a time to like a little bit of fun of yourself because they can't be too serious because it's a white tie event with the billionaires of the world spitting some money at starving children. Like if you take yourself too seriously, the New York press is just going to decimate you and leave you for dead.
Sure.
Like you're just going to be knocked off the
Well,
pedestal.
even the great grandson of is his
Smith.
name Al Smith as well?
Yeah.
Junior.
He's Al
When
Smith.
he-
Junior.
Before
The
he
fifth, I
introduces
think,
Trump,
yeah.
I thought it was funny that he got in the jab that the only other man in New York has figured out how to pay no taxes and have tax exempt properties rather than the
The
diocese.
diocese. Yeah.
I thought that was
Actually,
good.
that's Al Smith the 4th. The 5th was then on CNN later, and I started laughing. Because in my head I kept thinking, do they keep having boys? Because how many families are like, all right, we want a
You
boy.
need one more son to get that name
But they
down.
keep going, but it was very funny. That gentleman, Al Smith the 4th, very funny.
He was very funny.
Yeah, they got
Very
it done.
funny.
And it made news in 2012 because they made a big deal about it. It was the first time they were ever going to meet socially.
I've never heard of it. It's funny.
And I think that was the
But it
first
goes on
time.
every year. It's just that every 4 years it gets attention because the presidential.
It's every year. I'm so sorry. I did not hear you say that. So
Yeah,
it's not every 4 years.
It's not every 4 years. It's every year.
Oh, great.
And then the year of the election, the two candidates come together
into it.
Well,
as
and
an outreach to Catholic voters. They all want to be there.
Sure. Well, and they said that it took, as far as the miracle, for the Cardinal to be able to get Trump and Hillary to shake hands. And one thing that I didn't, because I'll give credit where credit is due, even if it's for a big fucking douchebag. And Trump, when he got up, for as much as they were, separate and even with one seat in between them, blah, 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 he got up and he went to walk past to go up because he was the first to speak.
Right.
And he just
Taps
very
her shoulder.
gently tapped her shoulder. And I think Rachel, your husband is the only one who brought that up. And it was dismissed. Like Al Franken, senator from Minnesota, dismissed it. And I thought that was... And again, I'm not going to fucking vote for him because he did it, but
he came across as very human. So if you're looking for a human moment from him...
In the beginning,
His first moments of... And now we're going really inside baseball if you're not listening from this country.
You're right.
But the first moments of what he said were very funny. The joke may have been plagiarized about what he did.
How fucking hysterical was that?
The joke at Melania's expense. But he didn't. He was never self-deprecating. The only person,
except for about being modest, that was his best.
Yeah, the only person who took down was his wife, big man.
Right.
But it was a funny joke, and he made her stand up. She got a laugh out of it.
She smirked and
then he kind of smiled through Hillary's, and he was at least a good sport. But I have to say, if you watch that till the end, because she gets a standing ovation, he gets polite applause. She gets a standing ovation, and towards the end of it, he stands up too. And it wasn't so much that he was giving her a standing ovation. He was standing for a lady coming back to her seat.
Oh, very nice. And he did go to reach for it, did he not?
Yeah, he did. And it was one of those moments that you're like, oh, so there is a human being in there. And it really did it was the softer side of Trump.
Because that was when the Cardinal, something happened where the Cardinal went to get up because the Cardinal had kept going to her seat to help her.
But he did stand up and acknowledge there's a lady coming back to her seat. It's time to at least, if nothing else, be a gentleman on one.
Or he might have been just ready.
To grow up the ass. The interesting...
But the pussy's dry.
Well, that's why we're going for that back juice box. But...
All right, there's that.
Back juice box.
He was going for the back juice box.
Is there an HR department here? Because I would really like to write a strongly worded letter.
Please do.
About me and her.
Please do.
Mr. Perkins, you've thrown yourself under the bus.
This
I
shit
realize.
coming through my headphones is vulgar. Vulgar.
Nothing wrong with the back juice box.
Back juice box.
The back juice box.
The interesting thing
That's
that
what I'm waiting
when the back juice box, that dinner and his presentation. At first, I thought this is gonna go great. He's gonna do really well. And all of a sudden, it was like, damn. I mean, where
it was painful.
It wasn't just painful; it was shocking. And again,
and where he crossed the line was when he said, after she publicly said she hates Catholics, which is not part of the WikiLeaks.
Yes,
that's one of the easily debunked emails that they found that has some extra stuff to cause troubles, and the fact that she was the New York senator.
Yeah.
So worked with the archdiocese down there and has a pretty good reputation because if you go and you read about this, one of the things that has caused conflicts with this is in the pro-choice stance of Democrats. And Hillary the night before had given one of the best pro-choice, pro-woman arguments for a woman's right to choose that I have ever seen. She whipped out the vagina and played that card.
Well, she slapped him with it, is what she did.
Slapped him with it. After he did that horrible thing of describing...
Oh, my God.
He wasn't describing late-term abortion. He was describing what the Manson family did to Sharon Tate. That's
exactly
not that's not a late-term abortion. That was just...
You're
grotesque...
Right. It was.
A grotesque thing of something that does not happen.
And there was something about that wasn't, it was too natural The way he said it?
Oh, no, he had that rehearsed. That was one of the few things that he had rehearsed.
know.
But I really thought...
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah, he had that ready, and I think he believed, like Carly Fiorina, they believe that shit's true.
Yeah, but he didn't believe that before.
No, but somebody...
Okay.
Got to him.
Yeah,
okay.
coach. He's been coached.
Sure.
Oh, I'm not saying that anything comes out
That's
of
what
here
I thought.
comes from
That's
here.
why I'm like, wait a minute.
No, if you... he reads like a 2-year-old.
like Overboard.
Yeah. So, and when she came out, and I have not heard somebody, and that's why we finally needed a woman to run for president. When someone was going to breathe down the pro-choice movement's neck, it was time for Hillary to come out vagina blazing and just be like, the fuck you say.
Blazing vagina.
I have had friends that go through this.
Right.
This is a horrible, horrible choice you have to make to save someone's life when things have just gone around an irreparable curve. And this is a horrible thing for anyone to go through, to carry a pregnancy that late and then find out that it's no longer viable and you have to make these choices. And then to have this fucktard orange thing get up there and describe what is just murder. That's not an abortion. That's just murder.
Right.
No one thinks that's going to happen. No one's pushing for that to happen.
And even if you take any of that out of it and you say, so the mom dies, right? Because that's what was
That's
being
what the
said.
church thinks.
So the mom dies. The kid lives, and as we have said over and over, who's going to take care of that kid, right? Because the Catholic Church says,
they gotta wait for the Al Smith dinner.
Forgive me, not the Catholic Church. I'm going to take that out of it. But the
No, the Catholic Church. Watch
No,
Samantha Bee.
I know,
Oh no,
I know, but
Samantha
I'm
Bee went
saying-
after them yesterday
I
with
should say
both barrels.
not every Catholic, because there are Catholics that I know that don't buy into that.
But the
as well.
Catholic Church.
But the
does.
Catholic Church, but where Donald and super right wing come in and say, take care of the kid. Well, who's going to really take care of the kid? Because then once it's born, mom's dead. They go, well, kid's alive. We win.
And the reason that you do something like that is because
Harrison.
it's not viable.
Right.
You don't do that because of someone's choice. You do it because it's no longer viable.
Absolutely.
And so
at that point,
at that point, and what he's describing is just straight up murder.
It was horrible. I sat there thinking.
And so you really need it. And Hillary, if I wasn't going to vote for her, her answer to that was why a woman needed to be put in charge of these fucktards. Now you're all caught up.
Amina's on point.
Well, yeah, Amina.
That really does sum it all up.
No.
So
Flaming.
So what makes it so shocking is that
Traditional spelling.
In '96, Bill Clinton and whatever the old guy with the pen's name was,
Dole.
Well done.
Nobody gonna tell Bob Dole how to do things.
Yeah.
Nobody gonna tell Bob Dole.
They weren't invited
Was there a
because
fence with Viagra?
yeah,
Kind of
because Bill Clinton had refused to sign the late-term abortion bill, and then in 2004 they were afraid that the politics of 2004 and the Catholic Church's stance on abortion and gay marriage and all those things would just shine them in a bad light, so they didn't invite them in 96 and 04. Those are the 2 years that they didn't invite the presidential candidates.
Okay.
And it was the second term for the president, so no, you had already met George W. and you'd already met Bill before. Right. So that's what made it so shocking after she gave such a pro-choice, pro-woman, pro-a-woman's right to choose speech and did it so succinctly and did not mince words and told them to get the fuck out of my uterus.
Yeah.
That the next day she was at the Al Smith dinner.
Step off my vagina, bitch.
Right. No, and it really, I'll cut you with this.
I'm gonna cut you with this.
I will
vagina.
take this thing out of my, and I will cut you with it.
Vaginal bleeding,
So,
whole new level.
if you think about the politics of it and the fact that the next day she was at the guest of the Archdiocese of New York is kind of a big fucking deal that they were like, oh, we're afraid of her too.
I like that. Yeah.
She's the great and powerful Oz. We're not getting in the way of that.
Right. And it really, when he decided that he was going to, I feel like they must have walked up there with two speeches. I'm assuming, right, that you walk up there, and if you're the first one who has to speak, that you're like, which road do I go down?
Oh no, I just think no.
I'm saying in general. Take whomever. Take the.
I just
the
don't think he
players
has
out of
that
it.
many brains.
No, but you're right. His people don't either.
They don't either.
Because Kellyanne Conway's like, no, he's still winning. But I felt like that they would walk up there because it seems to make sense to me, where you'd walk up and you'd say, okay, I have 2 separate things I can do. The good angel.
And I could see you looking at a page and being like, wrong room.
Right.
Oh, that worked in the back of the bus with Billy Bush, but maybe this isn't the room.
Not now.
I have this ready, but maybe only when me and Billy Bush are together again.
And maybe that's only what Hillary did.
But
by walking up there and going,
oh, no, but hers
this one.
Her speech
on point.
On point. The jokes were good. They were solid.
She's not very She's not very
funny, but she hit it out of the park.
She did.
Probably because he bombed so much before him. But if you get a chance to watch this, for those listening that didn't see it, it starts off self-deprecating. The jokes are at her expense. A couple at Donald's that are really good. Well landed. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of times where she almost gets booed. Right. She goes a step too far a couple times into the land of not here, Hillary.
She even said, well, there are a couple of jokes that even I said no to.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 where the crowd groans, but then it turns into this uplifting thing about combining faith with good service and the government
and
working with the church.
Yeah, she
and what it's
ended
all
on
about.
a high note with that.
Oh, but it was out of the park. Even I was in my living room, like
Me
I was,
too.
and I was sad I erased it because I'm like, I would like to watch that again because that speech ended. I'm like, that
it's on YouTube.
Half of that is her it's all over
and
YouTube.
her best pantsuits and the white,
right.
what I call
you're all in tuxedos. I call them formal pantsuits.
Formal pantsuits, right.
But the whole thing where she brought it all together and she got you the religion and public service. It really was very moving. Yeah, very moving.
To put it all together, sure.
And, she smacked a couple people with her vagina and her uterus.
Also, there was someone in that audience behind to the left, right in front, that reminded me of someone we all know that may be joining us. Actions, reactions, because sometimes the Wilk doesn't completely just burst out laughing. Like he sits there, right, and it's like on his palate, like, is that funny? Is it not funny?
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the gentleman. Oh, now it went away.
Oh, is it the bug-eyed guy on this side?
No. The right over the
put it in
left
terms
shoulder,
of the boobs.
Right in front of the boobs.
Okay, yeah.
He was just a little too greasy.
Because between there was a woman that you could never see because when they were up there was a guy, and behind Hillary and or Donald there was a woman in white sitting right behind him.
Right.
But there were the 2 guys.
Oh, and the guys
the guy on the left, like when you're looking at Hillary, looking at Donald, the guy that was here had kind of a thing on.
Right.
Like he looked like he
Miss
was
Gay,
chewing
Arizona,
on
2002.
And by the way, what I mean by that is but it really, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, Doug Wilkie sitting
the guy whose eyes were bugging out of his head as Trump kept bombing. But he was like, can I get out of this room?
I can't get out
But the lady,
enough.
you got to watch her put on her glasses
right
and start reading her Twitter.
This guy.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
He's far too greasy. He's not,
aside from the greasiness, yes, I sense the wilkiness about him.
But where he was like,
because he like slinks down in his chair, and he's the one that's like
doing one of these, looking over.
And
it was
Rudy
very
Giuliani
funny.
trying to find out where his teeth are.
Well, or his glasses,
and Henry Kissinger just staring at the ground, trying to figure out what year it is.
And what I appreciated was at the end with Henry Kissinger waiting and waiting. Trump bolted, and everyone stayed to speak with Hillary. And Hillary stayed to speak with everyone.
He knew that went
and
wrong.
Henry Kissinger was one of them, who was kept trying to get Hillary's attention, really. And finally, someone said, "Just go stand in front of her. Let's go down a row."
Well, and
I was impressed.
The last thing the Bernie people want is for Hillary Clinton to be photographed with Henry Kissinger, because that just proves everything that they think about her.
But it was really interesting.
The Bernie people are like, there she is. She's with Henry Kissinger. It's all true.
Told you. The traditional spelling.
The traditional spelling of Kissinger.
But that was fun. And so if you guys can go on, if you haven't seen it. It shows the best moments on CNN.com. You can look at the Al Smith dinner in 2 minutes, it says, and it'll show you.
But watch her whole speech. Don't just do 2 minutes, because she ends it very well. And as you know, we are kind of lacking religion here, but I like it when somebody gets the good works of religion into a speech.
It's her name is Maria Bartiromo. That's the woman who with
With
the
the boob. I love
That's
that.
her.
He's like,
Oh, and Samantha B just addresses the elephant in the room. She's like, and there was a white tie dinner that starred Her boobs.
Her boobs. I was working while that was happening, and I just happened to look up and I went, damn.
Yeah, like those things are everywhere.
The boys were in the room.
Yeah,
like,
the twins were both showed up.
Yeah, Maria Bartiromo.
Bartiromo.
People are gonna want that dress, that bra, that.
I bet
surgeon.
it's sold out.
Yeah.
I bet
and
that's
she had the white gloves. She's wearing the opera length gloves.
And then took them off to be able to
Twitter. She needed to twat.
She was twatting with gloves
traditional
off.
spelling.
Traditional.
To twat.
Mm-hmm. Gloves off.
From the verb
to twat. I love it. Fair enough. God, that's fantastic. Yeah, I just thought that was a fun dinner to watch.
I didn't get anything to eat, though.
I left hungry, but I wasn't in white either, so that's fair.
Oh, thank God I was right about Claire Booth Luce.
Because
I'm like, oh my God, she was a U.S. ambassador and public conservative figure. And I'm like, oh, there she is.
Speaking of your, but nope. Massachusetts. I have no idea where I was going with what I was going to call her. Your Massachusetts senator.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Nuh-uh.
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. Damn it.
I was really testing you.
She's become the Benedict Cumberbatch of this year.
Of this show.
And soon, no, in general, of this year. You know, I'm going to play fair with that. Because in like a year and a half, you'll be like, Elizabeth Warren! Like constantly. Yeah. Not now.
For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, this Maria Bartiromo from the dinner. She's
and the lady lovers in the group will like this
She's the woman
picture.
in the red dress right there. Over.
And she's giving you so much Sophia Loren realness
she
here.
Totally was. She really was.
Yes. But that right boob got filled either too much or... Or, I mean, something happened because I was waiting for that to I was waiting for her to pull a Janet Jackson and, you know, like.
Now, if we just analyze this picture, the right breast is lost control. The gentleman right behind the orange thing has taken to
the
Twitter.
jack-o'-lantern.
Has taken to Twitter
Yes.
to be like, what the fuck? The guy on our right, Trump's left, is trying to figure out where to pull the plug to deflate the balloon.
Right, and Doug Wilkie will be with us on November 8th.
And Doug Wilkie just has a blank stare of like, if I laugh, if I cry, what will lose votes or money? Where did I get this swastika on my neck?
Why do I have this brooch?
Why am I wearing a brooch?
Why am I wearing this brooch? What do they call that in Texas where you put the thing on? The
bolo tie?
Bolo tie.
He has like a bolo brooch going on.
Really
and it may be turquoise.
It could be.
It is turquoise.
I just know that every time I looked at him, he was so... Because Mr. Wilkie, the villainess...
It's good to go from a white tie event to me in a hoodie.
I like to draw a contrast.
It really is. From the hoi polloi to the dregs of society.
This is fancy.
See?
This is
now.
Traditional.
But you got to remember, when I answered the door that day in that getup that made the guy ask if I really lived inside that house, it was worse than this.
You can't imagine.
Can't imagine. Don't want to.
It was worse
really,
than this?
In 2 parts.
Were you able to watch that whole Al Smith dinner, Clayton?
Just their part. I didn't watch all of it.
Okay.
I got a little before because it was. I watched the great grandson. Whatever do the introduction. I watched most of the Archbishop or Cardinal or whatever the hell he was, and then those two.
Well, they said that normally it's not shown. That's why I was asking you because you know how you said you hadn't seen the.
Oh,
stuff
and this one
before?
got like 10 million viewers.
Well, they were trying to say, well, nobody's going to see this. Nobody's going to see this. But CNN and MSNBC played the whole thing, right?
Yeah. They were live.
And normally, I guess that doesn't happen. And so that's why I know for a fact
I
before
feel like
I've
the Romney
seen
one
clips.
was on PBS.
been.
I feel like it was covered.
Or what's the other one? What's the,
not C-SPAN, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, sure.
I know the Romney one got played because it was kind of funny. And I think it got a little bit more attention because Obama's been killing it. Actually, no, I think it was because... it's because Obama's been doing well at the nerd prom.
Yeah. I mean, he's funny.
I am, though it was entertaining to watch it, the whole reason I'm ready for all this to be done is I'm very tired of my routine programming being disrupted by all these fucking let's go live to somewhere where they're going to fart and we just have to cover it because that's what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Because it keeps interrupting my news cycle with Rachel. Like, and I need her to move
I need an hour of Rachel.
I need her to move off. We need to move off of this, and let's go back to investigating the fucktards like in Flint, Michigan.
We're 15 days away.
And Paige,
Because how many people are getting away with other shit?
right.
While this
So
is going on,
So I'm hoping that we have like a couple weeks of catch up, where like she's like, we got to hit all these stories.
Right.
Because I'm just,
Fair enough.
I need it. That's what I need from her. But my fear, here's what's going to happen, because the sexy time of the year is over. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to take a fucking vacation, and nobody that I want to watch is going to be on for a couple weeks. So I'm probably going to have to go through some sort of I might have to actually watch a movie.
I'll go through withdrawal.
I'll have to go to like a movie.
Watch Margarita with the Straw.
It's going to be an ugly time.
I will. You're going to see it.
And then everyone will bitch of where did our ratings go? Well, the shit show's
we know. We know where our ratings went.
Well.
Nowhere.
Well, we drove them away tonight with an hour on a dinner that no one's ever heard of.
Are we?
Oh my God, which was, I thought, one of my favorite things this last week. So
Clayton needs some privacy. What does that even mean, Annette? I don't need, for what?
Something you said 5 minutes ago. I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
I've got.
What
to
do I
think
need
about
some
it
privacy for? I mean, I'm sitting here in front of a live camera, and you're watching me from around the world. I don't obviously need a lot of privacy, though there are no other cameras in the west wing of this house. The west wing of this house, no cameras.
Yeah.
They stop at the hallway.
So when you show up, just make sure you're touching them on the west side.
The west wing.
Let's leave that alone.
Yeah.
Stop touching them in the other juice box.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Touch me in my other juice box. Traditional spelling.
Touch me in the juice box.
Then just
walk away.
Just go.
Oh, that's
Just
fantastic.
go.
Are we just
All
about?
for your news cycle with Rachel.
Are we
you need
done
some
with this?
privacy.
Oh, you need some alone time with you and the husband.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm good.
Thanks,
I'm good.
Harry.
Oh, for my news cycle, I see what you're doing.
Thanks,
no,
Harrison.
it's all right. Are we thoughtfuling? Are we done?
Let's thoughtful our way out of this.
Sure.
I gotta go to bed. Thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk, because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck. Somebody put the gay fire ants on my Facebook page while we weren't.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh.
That's funny. God, it makes me laugh.
Oh.
Just makes me laugh. Gay fire ants.
So, let's think. So, what are you thinking of for like November 9th? Like what, besides the orange thing, like what can you just not wait for people to stop talking about? Like what is the topic?
Polls. I don't ever want to hear a goddamn thing about a poll. I don't care if it's a stripper poll. I don't care if it's a
She was ready for this
presidential poll.
answer.
God, no
I
kidding.
don't care if it's about the Winx chili cook-off,
Cook-off 2004.
I don't care what it, but the whole polls thing. Because if I hear how fucking narcissistic and great somebody is any longer about, well, they, leave it to Sally Field. They like me. They really, really like me.
Yeah.
Let her have it.
I never thought I would miss cholesterol and anxiety medication ads as much as I miss them now.
But I'm really worried about that actress that's dressed up as my bowels running around the street.
No kidding.
Yes, I know. IBS,
Yes.
The irritable bowel syndrome lady.
Yes,
We can't go anywhere. What do you want to do tonight?
I know. We have to talk to her agent because that's
Horrible.
a shitty job.
But you know what? She's getting paid.
Traditional spelling.
She's getting paid though.
She is.
She is
Fair
getting
enough,
paid.
fair
It's probably
enough.
maybe even equity. We don't know.
We don't know. That's
find
fair.
out.
That's fair enough.
And Nan says politics. I'll give you that, but I stay on politics the whole
No,
time.
and it's always running in the background, and that's fine, and I get that. But I need it to go back to the
But
level,
it's
normal
ramped
level.
up to steroids level.
We're
down.
done. I can't. I mean, it's steroided out so much the dick is just tiny anymore.
Yeah.
Who cares? I need it to be.
The balls are huge, or whatever it is.
If
Whatever
that
happens.
can you even find them? I don't know. Find them. But no,
very blue.
I just am ready to go back to regular programming. I need my news shows to start and stop on the regular time. I don't need anything to be preempted or interrupted, or
But
because somebody's
preempted
walking
and
on
interrupted
stage.
with something that isn't
Preemptible-
even
preempt
kind of
worthy,
fucking
yeah.
important.
Right. Like I said, they'll fart and be like, "We're gonna go live,"
Right?
Because somebody's gonna do.
Well, like sitting there and again, hearing people. If there were someone who could sit down, and it's a challenge, take it, that can sit down and say, "This is why," and give me points of why they're voting for Donald Trump and believe in him and the whole nine, not just because he says believe me, but actually believe in him because of A, B, C, D,
Some
and E.
public work that he's done sometime in his life, right?
And that would make sense, not just cause he says, because all he really says, just like he sat in Florida, this morning, yesterday morning, I don't remember. I was like so
They all
fucking
blur
ridiculous.
together.
And he sitting at a round table and says, "Well, all right."
Oh, is that the one about the dark poles?
Yes.
And they're like, "There's no such thing as the dark pole."
Yeah.
Like the other commentators, like, we don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, certain times of the year, the North Pole is kind of.
Well, but still, but he's
then-
making up shit.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
and when he's
You're
like,
making things up
he
again.
has these
Oh,
people sitting there that are like, and I think you're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Oh, they drank
and
the
then
Kool-Aid.
they look
Right.
up and they look up and he says, "Well, I think we're winning in the polls. I think we're
Despite
winning
what
in
they're
the
saying,
polls.
we're winning.
Despite
I know
what
we're
they're
winning.
saying.
We're
Well,
winning.
I kind of think we're.
We're gonna take Florida.
You know what? We are winning, and they're like this.
That's all we needed to hear.
Oh my God, he thinks we're winning.
And I get being a cheerleader for your troops, and I
right,
get that part.
right.
But when you
And
tell them,
staying optimistic.
and that's all fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But when you're baiting them all with complete bullshit, and the fact that like they went to oh God, was it Brian Williams last night? I forget which one I was watching, but they literally went to somebody who's a poll person. They're like, "What's a dark pole?" And they're like, "We don't know."
Yeah, he made that up.
We have no idea what that
Things
is.
that he makes up, like we can't
do it.
Like,
Right.
what's my back juice box? I don't know.
I don't know.
She just made that up.
Right.
I can't point to it on
We
my
can
doll.
probably figure
But
it
as
out.
I'm going to
right
use
now-
visual clues, and I'll get you to a dark pole or a back
But
juice
if
box.
he heard that, he would be like, "I have them in vending machines."
Yeah, exactly. I sold it. So, and Harrison says a patient told her today that he doesn't care which one wins. Come November 9th, he's rolling a giant joint and staying stoned all day because weed will be legal in California.
That's fantastic.
And I got to give you that. From what I'm hearing from many people, I don't think it's going to pass here in Arizona.
Okay.
Because there's a fear of like big pharma kind of weed thing coming in. It's the plebeians aren't really for it. The little weed growers don't want to compete with the big weed growers, and it's turning into a. And I think it's being a thing that's going to take a couple election cycles, and I'm sad about that. But from what I read in this this weekend's Arizona Republic, there was a very long, like 19-column article about what happened in Colorado and how that leads us here. And it's one of the things that Buddy Early was talking about when we had him as a live interview.
That's when I heard that
interviewee.
last week,
So I read the entire article, and it was long because I now subscribe to the Arizona Republic.
from
And
what
what
I
it
heard.
said was, well, a lot of things seem to be going up and a lot of things seem to be going down, but mostly they're just staying the same, and we don't really know.
Okay.
So whatever you want to do.
Well, now because I wasn't here last week, I do have the only question that I have about that vote. So, because they're gonna say, well, money is gonna go here. Bullshit. And they're gonna say
Money never
this
goes
and
where
this
it's
and that.
supposed to
Right.
go.
It's never gonna.
Never going to go there.
But as far as drinking and driving, you drive, you get pulled over, they give you a test because
Right, and there's a way now that they say whether you are currently smoking or
Okay.
it's residual.
Got it.
Like
That's what
like
my
they can
question
tell,
is.
are you currently in
active mode, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah, but what's the word? Are you currently
stoned?
Right, but what's the word that they use?
I know what you're talking. Under the influence.
Under the influence.
Oh.
Are you
Right,
currently
right.
under the influence,
Right.
or you have just smoked in the past?
Right.
And there is a test where they can tell the difference. And one of the things in the laws is that they can't test for anything. So there will be no driving under the influence of marijuana, and that's one of the things that people are arguing against. But and just to let you know,
They'll go 5 miles an hour.
I know
though.
exactly.
Impeding traffic.
You're gonna have a lot of people driving like me on the shoulder, going 2 miles an hour with
Go around
with a helmet on in the car because you're afraid of everything.
Go around.
I have this for anxiety.
But I mean, seriously, everything that was in that article, like someone was saying, well, if we don't make it legal, the cops are going to spend a lot of time still arresting people for pot possession. And the Colorado cop was like, we arrested like 6.some% of the people, 6.7% of the rest, or some arbitrary number, was what we were arresting people for marijuana before the law. Now it's 6.9. He's like, what should you get out of this? We really didn't care if you were smoking pot in 2011. Okay. We don't care now. Okay. Like, he was kind of like, we've all kind of moved off the pot dime as to why we're going to send somebody to jail. If there's something else you did and it's easier to get you on the pot than it is, so like, we can't prove that you stabbed that lady, but you were stoned. We're probably going to throw you in jail for the pot.
All I'm going by, the reason that I'm asking that question is about the fact that you go to work, you go to school, people are, oh, you'll have edibles, and you'll have this, and you don't smell like pot, so you can get high all the time.
But that's the same with prescription drugs.
No, you're absolutely, hear me, I'm with you on that. So I go with all of that. The only thing I didn't understand, and don't understand still, is about that driving under the influence piece that other people are asking me about, and I want to be able to say, well, this is my opinion on it.
They've had a test for it since they had medical marijuana.
Okay.
Because you can't drive under the influence, and you shouldn't drive under the influence if you're on prescription medicines. It says do not operate heavy machinery or drive a car while taking this medication.
I just took an OxyContin.
Yeah, I'm okay to drive.
Right.
So there's a difference between under the influence and you've smoked pot somewhere in the last 30 days. If you're altered in any way, as with anything else, you can get pulled over for driving while altered.
Okay.
Is one of the things that they're saying. So if you're driving like you're fucked up, you're going to get pulled over for driving like you're fucked up.
You're fucked up, and then they go from there, because with driving under the influence, they're going to be able to do the blood test to say, like, let's say you're like a fat fucker and they can't do the...
I can't remember if it makes a difference between blood and urine and how they test it. But it is out there.
Well, you have to pee all the time, so they could test you at any moment.
Oh, my God.
Christ Lord. My urine is... I peed like 7 times during the show.
Over. Right.
So, but just look that up. It is available.
Okay.
What they did about smoking and driving in Arizona.
And that would change the $40 a year from the $250. Is that right?
I'm not sure what they're saying. I'm not sure what they're saying
would
be
be the fee.
Do you know what I'm
referring to?
Yeah, the $250 fee to have your medical card as
Right.
opposed to recreational, and they would give the licenses automatically to the people that were already selling it medically.
Okay.
They would get first shot at the distribution licenses.
Because the medical marijuana is going to be different than I just went to
Right, you'll go in under a different category, but the people that are already selling it under medical marijuana will be the ones that will get the first licenses because they're already dispensaries.
Got it.
And everything else is like free business. Like if you put a taco truck in every corner, some of the taco trucks aren't going to make it.
No.
So people saying there's going to be a pot dispensary in every corner.
Absolutely.
Who are these people that are all of a sudden going to start smoking? Like,
You're
oh my
right.
God, I've just been waiting for it to be legal. If you wanted to smoke pot, guess what? You've probably smoked pot before.
But the smart people will be the ones who put the taco trucks right next to the pot dispensaries.
Right.
Good call. That's smart. That's smart.
And the Girl Scouts that sell their cookies right outside.
400,000 boxes. Cereal. Coming.
Almost had that as a story. Thin Mint cereal.
Thin Mint, and then there's one
other
other one. I forget, but there's Girl Scout cookies cereal coming.
January 2017.
But hey, they're not getting
Breaking news.
They're not getting me with the Thin Mint cereal. Another thing that's up there.
I think so. Totally.
I'd put that on ice
is
cream.
as we're talking about polls,
Yeah.
what they did in 2012 was that all of the Republican pundits, because when you they were talking about didn't Romney decide the polls weren't representative,
with Harrison,
but it
right,
was
right.
everybody on Fox News, all the pundits on Fox News saying that because when they do the samples, they go through the general population and registrations, and there's like I think it's like 32% of the population is registered Democrat, 26 is Republican, and then somewhere between like 24 and 30 is independent. That's how people are registered. So what they do with polls is they do a sample to match up with how the registration goes. Okay. So they don't take, if they get a poll and they are like, okay, this is 100% Republicans, then it's not going to be a sample of what the nation divides out with. So if they get, like, out of 100 people, if they make sure that 32 of them are Democrats, 26 of them are Republicans, because there are more registered Democrats than there are registered Republicans, and the number of independents in the country is going up at a rate. So you kind of do that, and then you take the people that aren't affiliated that you hope will register to vote, which is where you get likely voters versus people who are eligible to vote. Okay. So as you get closer and closer to election, your polls go to likely voters, people who are already registered, they're already on the rolls, they have a plan to vote. So even if and now you wouldn't do unregistered voters because all of the registrations, except for in very liberal states where you can register up to the last day, like Arizona's done. If you're not registered, you can't be.
October 10th, I think, was the last day. Right.
You probably, or diabetic. It's what most people think. Or that I'm going in the bathroom to do cocaine. I hear that a lot too. So you're
not
no
the body
longer
of a cocaine user.
No,
just like this one isn't.
So you're not going to anymore. If you're doing a poll of Arizona, you're not going to get anybody who's not with libertarian green, you know, and that's what's missing. So you have independents, and you have your libertarian, you have your green in smaller numbers to get you to 100%. Okay. So they make the polls reflect that, and then people that are registered as Democrat but are going to vote Republican this year are in that mix, and vice versa. And people that are registered independent but don't, maybe like Gary Johnson, or have opted for Jill anti-vaxxer Stein, or they're going to vote for Roseanne Barr. They're going to go where they're going to go, but you need it to line up with how people are registered.
Sure.
So the Republicans get mad because they're like, why do you keep picking more Democrats than Republicans? Because there's more registered Democrats than Republicans. It has to reflect the sample size.
Okay, sure.
Like, if you want to know what the black community wants, then you go and you interview the black community. If you want to know what the nation wants as a whole, you get a sample that has this many white people, this many black people, this many Hispanics, this many Asians. That way you have the whole, you need the sample across the spectrum.
Sure.
If you interview all white people about Black Lives Matter, you're not going to get the right.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to. Yeah.
You can't.
So I mean, and that's what they call it, unskewing the polls. You can tell I listened to 538 way too fucking much.
I like it.
Because I just took on Harry Enton there. But that's what they're doing, and that's what this whole unskewing the polls is about.
Also, Ken Bowe is going to beat Jill Stein in Florida. I just want to let you know that and remind you. Cause
sweaters for everybody.
I think Pat Carlson's going to beat Jill Stein.
And you get a sweater, and you get a sweater, and you... No.
And then have you read about him? He's a turd.
Yeah, there was somebody...
Pregnant lady porn, and he is gross.
Oh!
Anthony, hello.
Hi, Anthony.
Oh, my God, there you are.
Look, Anthony's smiling.
We talked about you earlier in the show. I hope you're feeling better. We talked about your resting bitch face, or I did briefly about that you had gone to the hospital.
Thoughts and prayers are with you?
Yeah, whatever. Well.
No, prayer, songs, thoughts.
Prayers, songs, thoughts.
Before we go too much further, somebody in Japan is listening and has been for the past 54 minutes. Repeatedly, somebody from Japan is in there, and we know that we used to have a friend that lived there. To my knowledge, nobody from Japan has ever checked in. If you're listening, I'd love to know who you are, where you are, how you found out about us.
And if it's my friend Sarah Jean...
you can email us at info@qtalkamerica.com, or if you know, find us on the Facebook and the show with Clayton McKee or Q Talk America, and send us a message. I'd like to know who you is, because I just think it's cool that somebody's over there in the Japan area.
Welcome.
Yes.
Willkommen. Nope, that's the wrong language.
Yeah, it's German.
Sure.
So are we?
I don't know how to say welcome in Japan. So
Willkommen. What is the
Domo arigato?
That's thank you very much.
Well, arigato for listening.
Yeah.
No. What is where you can buy the collection of things in order to learn a language?
Rosetta.
Rosetta Stone.
I was going to say Rose Mofford. Different.
You can't buy her anymore. She died.
Cannot. She's still dead.
Well, you can get a part of her.
Pete Burns. Her.
Dead or alive? Dead.
Dead. Yeah.
So, I feel that joke playing out in bars all over the country.
I now want to see Rose Mofford, though it's a little late.
Yeah.
I want to see her do a karaoke of "You Spin Me Right Round."
Right round, baby.
right
round. With her hair going, I like it. I'm wondering if the person in Japan is perhaps using this as their own
way to
personal
learn
Rosetta Stone.
Oh, could you imagine?
Good Lord, not a good way to do it.
Clayton McKee Stone.
Is he's trying
we
to
need to start selling
As our
them.
poor listener is trying to explain to his fellow countrymen about his back
Or
juice
her.
box. Yeah.
Or her. It's all about the back juice box.
And something about cereal from Girl Scouts. Who are these Girl Scouts? Why
Who
are they
are
making
they?
cereal?
And why do they have a back juice box? They're wondering.
What is that?
Fair question.
So if you want to join me on my quest to be completely insane by November 8th, 5:38 the podcast with my voice crush Harry Enton, WizKid Harry Enton.
Oh, he was on. We saw him on the TV.
Yeah.
That night. Very cute.
I'm seriously like spend quality time alone in the bathroom with Harry Enton's voice because it just gets me.
I'm a little concerned, and I feel that I would not be in that same bathroom. Now,
I hope not. You're killing my buzz. You're killing my juice box.
Wow.
Any bathroom is what I meant. But Olavoch and Amina and Anant and Harrison and Aaron.
Joe and Joey.
And Joe and Joey. And damn it.
Oh, Meow Cal.
Meow Cal.
Who's working on Further West America.
If he is not, then he is lacking.
No, he actually said damn it and left the chat room when we introduced more to his map of the Americas. Further West America.
Well,
we had to get to the graphics program to start
and
working
happy,
on it.
what's it called? Diwali?
Diwali. Happy
Oh,
Diwali.
to all
Later
everybody.
By the way, traditional spelling.
Traditional
Oh,
spelling.
of course.
Yes.
I think that's Saturday or Sunday, the Festival of Lights.
Oh,
Yes,
that's very exciting.
Anant said it's on the 31st.
Light 'em up.
Light them up.
Smoke them if you got them.
Well,
Well, guess what, people? We actually will have a full cast next week. All four of us, barring anything bad happening, we'll all four be here. And then 2 weeks from tonight,
We'll have more people than you ever wanted.
more right. It's election night in America.
Take your medication.
And we promise that in a couple weeks after that, there'll be a lot less talk about stuff like this going on.
Unless
My
Trump
gosh.
wins, and then it's just group
Then
there.
fuck it, we're all going
when
up.
they go low, we go high.
There, we're gonna get high.
No,
Maybe that'll happen.
if he goes high, I go higher.
I'll get stoned.
As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.
Take care, guys.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.